Chapter 384. Qin Wentian had truly brought too much astonishment to the spectators. Initially, they had thought that with Shi Potion's terrifying strength, although he wouldn't be able to suppress Qin Wentian, it wouldn't be a problem for him to win. However, at this moment, their confidence started to waver. Shi Potian had actually fallen into an illusory realm. Was that really an illusory realm? No, that's definitely not an illusory realm. Emperor Azure had experienced Qin Wentian's strength before. Not only that, he himself was proficient in illusory realms, yet that strike of his had landed on the wrong spot. It wasn't an illusory realm at all, it was as though everything had happened in reality. Given Emperor Azure's control over illusions, it was impossible for him to fall into an illusory realm. Not only that, powerful wills would be able to extricate themselves from it. For someone as terrifying as Shi Potian, it was impossible for him to fall into an illusory realm. At that time, Emperor Azure felt as though everything that happened was real, deeply imprinted into his consciousness. But in the end, it was proven to be fake, just like Shi Potian. Emperor Azure knew that this was a type of mandate that was similar to the mandate of illusions. And that terrifying great rock, was that a combat divine inscription? A fourth-ranked combat divine inscription? The terrifying great rock accompanied Qin Wentian as they dashed forwards, like a beam of light, exuding a terrifying might that could destroy everything. The Purgatory Vermilion Bird hovering above Qin Wentian's Vermilion Bird held an absolute advantage against Shi Potion's Vermilion Bird. As Qin Wentian grew stronger, his Vermilion Bird also grew more and more violent and terrifying. Shi Potian finally realized something. Everything he saw was fake, it wasn't an illusory realm technique, it was an illusion created by him. An illusory realm technique allowed him to see things that were illusory and not real. However, what Shi Potian saw earlier wasn't an illusion, it was an illusion created by him. Boom! The terrifying great rock slammed into Shi Potian, instantly sending him flying through the air. His armor shattered as fresh blood flowed through the air, and he slammed heavily onto the ground. On the platform, the Purgatory Vermilion Bird had also swallowed Shi Potion's Vermilion Bird, ending the battle at the same time. Qin Wentian, who had transformed into the rock, stood up slowly and transformed into a human again. His breath was slightly fluctuating, his long robe and black hair were flying in the air. Staring at the silhouette of Qin Wentian, everyone understood that this dark horse was preparing to descend to the next round. Qin Wentian had defeated Shi Potian, the one who had the highest chance of contending for the top position in the Heavenly Fate rankings. Although Qin Wentian had seized Shi Potion's weakness and attacked crazily, making Shi Potian unable to play his advantage, he still won. Qin Wentian's comprehensive strength was too terrifying. He seemed to have no weaknesses. In terms of strength, he could crush too many people. Those who were stronger than him couldn't compare to him in speed. Moreover, he could transform into a demon and had a terrifying ability comparable to the will of illusion. The ancient bell he shot out seemed to be able to destroy hearts. During battle, he could condense battle divine inscriptions in the air, and they were extremely terrifying battle divine inscriptions. All three battles had ended. Chen Wang defeated Zhang Chen. Si Qiong had defeated the black-robed figure. Qin Wentian had defeated Shi Potian. The final battle was undoubtedly the most shocking. It wasn't the process, but rather, the ending. Next, Chen Wang will battle Shi Potian, Si Qiong will battle Zhang Chen, and Qin Wentian will battle the black-robed figure. Old man Tianji's voice rang out. The three victors would fight against the three losers. This way, they could avoid a clash of the strongest, and at the same time, the rankings wouldn't be determined by a single battle. That would be unfair. For example, although Shi Potian had lost to Qin Wentian, what if he was stronger than Si Qiong? If he was ranked third, it would naturally be unfair to him. Therefore, there would be such a mismatch. This kind of battle would make the final ranking more convincing. Naturally, before the battles began, the participants had to be given sufficient time to recover from their earlier exhaustion and injuries. Only when Chen Wang and Shirpatian stood on the platform did the gazes of the countless spectators once again converge on the platform. This time around, Shirpatian didn't even have the vermilion bird spirit, but the spectators were still filled with anticipation for this battle. However, because of Shirpotian's defeat, the spectators' view of him had already changed. Everyone believed that Chen Wang would defeat Shirpatian, and no one was optimistic about Shirpotian's chances. The winner is the king, and the loser is the villain. If Shirpatian defeated Chen Wang, didn't that mean that Qin Wentian would be able to defeat Chen Wang as well? This battle was extremely important to Shirpatian. He couldn't afford to lose again, but the person he was facing now was Chen Wang. At the first instant, Shirpatian unleashed the innate technique from his bloodline. His body expanded in size, resembling an ancient demonic beast, unexcelled in the world. His strength, defense, and attack had all increased to an unfathomable level. Chen Wang was also extremely serious. His astral soul erupted forth as the great sun Dharma body manifested. The battle between the two of them used the most direct method, colliding head-on. On the arena platform, the flaming giant and the ancient demonic beast were engaged in a frenzied battle. Every time they collided, the spectators could feel their blood boiling. Chen Wang's flaming body was on the verge of breaking apart, while Shirpotian's body was engulfed in flames, as though he was about to transform into a flaming giant. "Shirpatian, you can't do it." Abruptly, a voice rang out from the arena platform. After which, the spectators only saw the great sun Dharma body above Chen Wang's head radiating a resplendent light, as though his astral soul had fused together with it. A gigantic palm imprint that seemed capable of annihilating the heavens and earth slammed down towards Shirpatian. Shirpatian roared. He didn't use stellar transposition to evade. In this battle, Chen Wang wanted to use the most direct method to settle everything. How could he retreat? Bang! As the palm strike landed, Shirpotian's body transformed into a body of lava. His bones and blood seemed to be on the verge of melting into flames, being assimilated by Chen Wang. A look of struggle appeared on Shirpotian's face. "Get down." Chen Wang waved his palms, sending Shirpatian flying off the arena platform. For this battle, Chen Wang was the victor. Shirpatian was defeated once again. If Qin Wentian defeated the black-robed figure, that would mean that he, Shirpatian, would still have one last chance to fight against Si Qiong. If he defeated Si Qiong, it would mean that he was stronger than Si Qiong, and would naturally be stronger than Zhang Chen and the black-robed figure. But if Qin Wentian was defeated by the black-robed figure, he would no longer have the qualifications to fight against Si Qiong. Because the black-robed figure had been defeated by Si Qiong before. If he defeated Qin Wentian, it would mean that he would be able to defeat Shirpatian as well, and there would be no need for him to continue fighting. But no matter how one looked at it, Shirpotian's chances of becoming one of the top three were practically zero. And as expected, in the following battle, Si Qiong also defeated Zhang Chen. Even more so, no one believed that Shirpatian would be able to defeat Si Qiong. Shirpatian and Zhang Chen were both defeated twice in a row, causing the spectators to involuntarily sigh in their hearts. On the stage of the final battle, even someone as strong as Shirpatian and Zhang Chen had no choice but to accept their consecutive defeats. One couldn't help but to say that this was extremely cruel. Zhang Chen had prepared for this battle for far too long, yet he had already lost to Chen Wang and Si Qiong. He wouldn't allow himself to be defeated a third time, absolutely not. Shirpatian was even more miserable. Not only did he lose to Chen Wang, he even lost to Qin Wentian. He was ranked number 3 in the previous Heavenly Fate rankings, but this time around, it was extremely difficult for him to be ranked number 3. Next, we'll have to see the outcome of the battle between Qin Wentian and the black-robed figure. For this battle, there shouldn't be too much of a disparity. Qin Wentian is very strong, but the black-robed figure was able to injure Si Qiong. he definitely isn't a simple character. The spectators were speculating in their hearts, with regards to the outcome of this battle. What would the outcome of this battle be exactly? Would the tyrannical devil art of the black-robed figure be able to suppress Qin Wentian? Qin Wentian's attacks were also getting more and more bizarre. Would his illusory techniques be effective against the black-robed figure? When the two of them stood on the arena platform, the previously calm hearts of the spectators were once again stirred. Both of them could be considered dark horses of the heavenly fate rankings this time around. Qin Wentian didn't belong to any major powers, and the black-robed figure didn't even know of his identity. Now that they were facing each other, they were about to clash head-on. Who are you? Qin Wentian stared at the black-robed figure. Contrary to the expectations of the spectators, Qin Wentian didn't immediately make a move. Instead, he questioned the identity of the black-robed figure. The black-robed figure had helped him twice before, and with regards to the identity of the black-robed figure, Qin Wentian had always been filled with curiosity. But he had also injured Mo Qingqing on the arena platform. Initially, Qin Wentian was filled with both curiosity and gratitude towards the black-robed figure. But after his battle with Mo Qingqing, Qin Wentian started to doubt himself. He had to know the identity of the black-robed figure. The black-robed figure coldly stared at him, not saying a word. If you don't speak, I will personally unveil your veil. Qin Wentian's voice was ice-cold, as the aura from his body erupted forth. Kill me, or injure me heavily. You might be able to see who I am. And if you lose, I won't show you any mercy. The voice of the black-robed figure was hoarse. In the minds of the spectators, he had never spoken before. But at this moment, he actually spoke. Demonic chi gushed forth from the black-robed figure, as terrifying devil clouds appeared in the air. A series of whistling sounds could be heard as the demonic chi gushed towards Qin Wentian. As you wish. Qin Wentian walked towards the black-robed figure, his aura towering up to the heavens. The blood in his body churned, as demonic chi gathered in his palms. A pair of wings appeared on his back. Facing the black-robed figure, Qin Wentian naturally wouldn't underestimate him. With a flap of his wings, Qin Wentian's silhouette vanished, instantly appearing before his opponent. His opponent's devil palm slammed over. Qin Wentian wasn't polite at all. With a lift of his hand, a tyrannical dragon imprint blasted out. The might of their attacks was incomparably terrifying. In an instant, the two of them collided. Qin Wentian swept his eyes over, as a terrifying will of mandates gushed into the mind of the black-robed figure. But at this moment, the devilish might of the black-robed figure suddenly vanished without a trace. Not only that, the palm imprint of the black-robed figure directly landed on Qin Wentian's chest. Qin Wentian's countenance drastically changed. Draconic roars echoed in the air as the terrifying dragon imprint slammed down. To Qin Wentian's shock, the black-robed figure actually opened up his chest, allowing the draconic roars to land on him. Boom! The terrifying attack slammed into the chest of the black-robed figure without any reservations. His black robes were instantly torn apart as his body was flung through the air like a kite with a broken string, slamming into the golden feather pillar of the Vermilion Bird Arena platform. After which, he slumped onto the ground as fresh blood flowed unceasingly from his mouth. This scene caused the spectators to be dumbfounded. At the last instant, the black-robed figure actually gave up on attacking. How could this be? What was going on exactly? Even Qin Wentian had a puzzled look on his face. He didn't understand why the black-robed figure would do this. After a moment of shock, Qin Wentian lifted his feet and walked towards the black-robed figure. The black-robed figure's black robes were already torn apart, but the veil was still there. In fact, he could even see a head full of silky black hair, as well as a pair of extremely beautiful eyes. Faintly, they seemed somewhat familiar. Who are you? Qin Wentian's heart tightened. He squatted down and placed his hand on the veil of the black-robed figure, removing it. What was exposed was a pair of extremely delicate and beautiful faces. She was very young and very beautiful. Many in the crowd stared at the face of the black-robed figure, and those who could see it clearly felt their hearts trembling in shock. How could this be possible? The black-robed figure who cultivated that tyrannical devil art was actually such a beautiful lady? Not only that, although blood flowed unceasingly from the corners of her mouth, her beautiful eyes flickered with a smile that contained traces of tears. Qin Wentian finally recognized this beautiful face. Although it had changed greatly, he still recognized it. His heart violently pounded, as he felt a twinge of pain in his heart. Why did you do this? Qin Wentian let out a low roar, as his palms gently brushed past the beautiful face, wiping away the blood from the corners of her mouth. Atone for the sins of father and sister, and say sorry on their behalf. A gentle voice sounded out from the mouth of the lady. In her eyes, a smile could still be seen, a smile that was extremely beautiful. The corners of her lips trembled slightly, as she stared at Qin Wentian. Smiling, she called out, "Wentian Gage." Chapter 385. Wentian Gage. A melodious and gentle voice rang out in Qin Wentian's ears, permeating the air, causing time to stop. Countless bewildered faces stared at the arena platform. The fact that the user of the tyrannical devil art was actually a female had already caused them to be astonished. Not only that, this female was also extremely young and beautiful. What was even more shocking was that she was actually acquainted with Qin Wentian, and even intimately referred to Qin Wentian as Wentian Gage. The tears at the corner of the female's eyes, the smile on her beautiful face, as well as the traces of blood at the corner of her mouth, all of this brought about a sense of poignant beauty. The crowd didn't understand, since the black-robed figure was so close to Qin Wentian, why would she still do such a thing? In the midst of the crowd, Bai Qingsong clenched his fists tightly, while autumn snow bit her lips as they stared in the direction of the arena platform. They hated themselves, but now, they still needed Bai Qing to atone for their sins. They had told Bai Qing about the past, that Qin Wentian didn't kill Bai Qingsong for the sake of Bai Qing. Maybe because of this, Bai Qing still felt guilty in her heart, and chose such a method. But in reality, there was no need for her to do so. Silly lass. Qin Wentian sat on the arena platform, supporting Bai Qing's body up, allowing her head to rest on his thighs. Caressing her cheeks, he continued, "Do you know that doing this would only make Wentian Gage feel even worse? If I had been a little more ruthless earlier, wouldn't I have hated you for the rest of my life?" Never in Qin Wentian's wildest dreams would he have imagined that the black-robed figure would actually be Bai Qing, the little lass who loved to follow behind him. Now that she had grown up, she had become even more beautiful than her elder sister, Autumn Snow, one of the four great beauties of Sky Harmony City. Not only that, she was also so powerful. But in Qin Wentian's memories, she was still that innocent and adorable lass. Qin Wentian would never be able to forget that night when Bai Qingsong wanted to deal with him. Bai Qing had carried a dagger behind her father's back, allowing him to kidnap her. After so many years, this lass had once again done such a foolish thing. In that case, Wentian Gage will always remember me. Bai Qing still had a radiant smile on her face, just like when she was a young girl. Her smile was as pure and radiant as ever. Although she could transform into a powerful devil when she wore the black robes, in front of her Wentian Gage, she was still a young girl. Don't say such things. Qin Wentian glared at Bai Qing. After which, he turned his gaze to the crowd below the platform as he called out, "Qingqing, that's my younger sister, Qing-er." Mo Qingqing's silhouette flickered as she landed on the arena platform. She slowly walked to the side of Bai Qing as a few medicinal pills appeared in her hands, which she fed into Bai Qing's mouth. "Sister Qingqing, you are so beautiful." Qing-er revealed a mischievous smile, "Sister Qingqing, I have no ill intentions towards you. I just want to see how my sister-in-law is doing." "Who's your sister-in-law?" Mo Qingqing was rendered speechless by the words of this lass. But when she saw the innocent smile on Bai Qing's face, how could she bear to blame her? This silly girl, she even dared to throw her life away just now. Then I'll call you sister, you are not allowed to be angry with me. Bai Qing smiled foolishly. Mo Qingqing nodded her head lightly, don't worry, why would I be angry with you? Okay, let's go down. Qin Wentian felt extremely uncomfortable as he felt the gazes of the crowd. Supporting Bai Qing up, Bai Qing's gaze shifted to the direction of the mystic moon hall. Her eyes landed on a black-robed female as she bowed, Master, disciple can only reach this point in the heavenly fate ranking battle. I hope I didn't lose your face. Only now did the crowd notice that the black robes on Bai Qing were extremely similar to the black robes worn by those from the mystic moon hall. So it turned out that she was actually someone from the mystic moon hall. That female disciple nodded her head lightly as she calmly stated, Qing the knot in your heart has been untied. The ranking battle of the heavenly fate rankings is also sufficient to bring glory to our sect. Have a good rest. Thank you, Master. Bai Qing nodded her head as she walked down the arena platform with Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing. The ranking battle of the heavenly fate rankings had always been dominated by the 7 great clans of Grand Xia. The majority of the participants belonged to the 7 great clans. Bai Qing from the Mystic Moon Hall, being able to achieve such an achievement was already an extremely outstanding feat naturally, her achievements would also bring glory to the Mystic Moon Hall. The gazes of many were still fixated on Qin Wentian, as their curiosity towards him grew stronger and stronger. Qin Wentian, the dark horse of the heavenly fate rankings, had already secured a spot in the top 4. He had a beautiful girlfriend like Mo Qingqing, as well as a beautiful and powerful younger sister. Not only that, it seemed that this beautiful woman wasn't even his biological sister. This caused the hearts of the spectators to be filled with different thoughts. Another round of the heavenly fate rankings had ended. Chen Wang defeated Shirpatian. Si Qiong defeated Zhan Chen. Qin Wentian defeated the black-robed figure. Perhaps it couldn't even be considered a battle. Following which, the black-robed figure voluntarily withdrew from the heavenly fate rankings, no longer persisting. On the heavenly fate rankings, the name of Bai Qing from the Mystic Moon Hall appeared in the number 6 position. Next, it was time for the 2 losers, Shirpatian and Zhan Chen, to battle. Shirpatian was defeated by Chen Wang and Qin Wentian, while Zhan Chen was defeated by Chen Wang and Si Qiong. This meant that as long as Shirpatian defeated Zhan Chen, there would be no need for Zhan Chen to continue fighting against Qin Wentian. He would directly be ranked number 5, while Shirpatian would obtain the qualifications to challenge Si Qiong. And if Zhan Chen defeated Shirpatian, it meant that there was no need for Shirpatian to fight against Si Qiong. Shirpatian would be ranked number 5, while Zhan Chen would obtain the qualifications to challenge Qin Wentian. After Old Man Tianji made the announcement, he allowed them to rest for a period of time. As for the ending of the battle, the spectators couldn't predict it. Shirpatian and Zhan Chen had both lost 2 battles. Between the 2 of them, who was stronger? Both of them had lost to Chen Wang. As for Shirpotian's defeat to Qin Wentian, it was because of his speed. Zhan Chen's defeat was because Zhan Chen didn't have an advantage in other aspects, but when it came to soul attacks, even if his golden body was indestructible, his soul would still be destroyed. When Shirpatian and Zhan Chen appeared on the arena platform, an intense battle intent radiated from them. They had already lost 2 battles in a row, they absolutely couldn't afford to lose again. If they lost again, they would directly be ranked number 5 on the heavenly fate rankings, and if they won, they would still have a chance to fight for the number 3 position. For this battle, the conviction of the 2 of them was incomparably strong. Shirpotian's physique grew even more violent as his primordial demonic bloodline erupted forth. His body transformed into a gigantic boulder, containing a towering might. Shirpotian's offense and defense could be said to be one of the most fearsome existences on the heavenly fate rankings. Yet in his first battle, he was defeated by Qin Wentian's speed and divine inscriptions, and in his second battle, he met Chen Wang. Zhang Chen's countenance turned sharp, he could feel an intense sense of threat emanating from Sherpatian. We can't afford to lose this battle. It was unknown how terrifying Zhang Chen's eyes were, but at this moment, he actually closed his eyes. His lips trembled, as though a terrifying energy was awakening within him. A wondrous sound wave permeated the air, containing an incomparably majestic energy that enveloped Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen actually has a secret art. The hearts of the spectators trembled. After which, astral light cascaded downwards, landing on Zhang Chen's body. Boundless golden light flashed as Zhang Chen's body was bathed in it, the sharpness he exuded grew stronger and stronger. Ancient will summon. Zhang Chen murmured. After which, his entire body trembled violently, and at the instant he opened his eyes, a beam of golden light could be seen flickering in the center of his brows. His eyes grew even more demonic, giving the spectators a feeling that his eyes no longer belonged to a single person, but rather, contained the brilliance of two people. It was incomparably terrifying. Borrow the boundless golden yuan, punishment. Around Zhang Chen, a fearsome golden light shimmered. Step by step, he advanced towards Sherpatian. Every single beam of golden light he exuded contained the power of punishment, unparalleled might. Pang! Sherpatian stomped his foot on the arena platform, stepping forward. The strength he exuded was also incomparably terrifying, yet at this moment, he actually felt an intense sense of danger from Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen also stepped towards Sherpatian. Every step he took caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. Demonic chi and golden light enveloped the entire arena platform, the power of punishment felt as though it wanted to penetrate through Sherpatian's body. Roar! Finally, at the instant the two of them neared each other, Sherpatian unleashed his strongest attack. A gigantic golden dragon roared as the silhouette of a terrifying primordial demon manifested. This strike of his seemed capable of destroying the heavens and earth, flattening the mountains and rivers. Zhang Chen similarly unleashed his own attack. Boundless golden light converged together to form the power of punishment, blasting forth with his body, destroying everything in its path. Pang, 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 the terrifying light of punishment exploded apart, but it seemed as though there was no end to it. Cracks gradually appeared on the surface of the golden dragon, and finally, Zhang Chen pierced through it with his golden Punisher sword. The golden dragon broke apart, and a deafening rumbling sound echoed out as Sherpatian's armor exploded apart. A sword pierced through his chest, bit by bit. Boom! A thunderous sound rang out as Sherpatian's body was flung through the air. The sword had penetrated through his chest, causing fresh blood to flow out. The spectators watched on as Sherpatian was flung through the air, falling off the arena platform. Zhang Chen stood at the edge of the arena platform, his aura fluctuating violently. He closed his eyes as the terrifying energy he was radiating gradually retracted. Zhang Chen had won. He had used his attacks to clash with Sherpatian, and he had won. However, it seemed that even Zhang Chen wasn't able to easily control this energy. When Zhang Chen opened his eyes, he slowly turned around, gazing in the direction of Qin Wentian. Although he had lost 2 battles, he would still be able to obtain the 3rd ranking. Staring at Zhang Chen's gaze, the spectators couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. Qin Wentian, this dark horse, was about to come to a halt. Zhang Chen would do the same thing he did to Sherpatian, disregarding everything else to control that terrifying energy. After the conclusion of this battle, the next battle would be between Zhang Chen and Qin Wentian, Chen Wang and Si Qiong. If Zhang Chen defeated Qin Wentian, he would be able to obtain the 3rd ranking, while Qin Wentian would be ranked 4th. As for Chen Wang and Si Qiong, it would be the final battle. Naturally, if Qin Wentian was able to defeat Zhang Chen, he would be ranked within the top 3, contending against Chen Wang and Si Qiong for the top 3 rankings. However, the spectators who had just witnessed this battle all felt that Qin Wentian wouldn't be able to win. Qin Wentian was very strong, but Zhang Chen had defeated Shirpatian head-on. This was something only Chen Wang had accomplished before, and now, Zhang Chen had also accomplished it. Most probably, the battle between Chen Wang and Si Qiong would be the final battle. Chapter 386. There were only 2 more matches remaining in the Heavenly Fate rankings. As long as Zhang Chen defeated Qin Wentian, the final battle would be between Chen Wang and Si Qiong. Chen Wang didn't disappoint the crowd, he managed to reach the very end. However, his opponent wasn't Shirpatian or Emperor Azure, but the strongest dark horse, Si Qiong. The strength of this dark horse was so terrifying that it was as though there was nothing he couldn't do. He was proficient in all sorts of ultimate arts of Grand Xia, and what he was most proficient in was soul attacks. There was no way to counter such attacks, there was no one who wouldn't fear him. Si Qiong seemed to have no weaknesses at all. Not only that, the spectators didn't know how magnificent the flames would be when Chen Wang and Si Qiong clashed. Chen Wang, the most anticipated opponent, Si Qiong, the most terrifying dark horse. In the air, Old Man Tianji stared at the remaining 4 contenders, his gaze lingering on each of them for a brief moment. The fate of Grand Xia was about to change, starting from the Heavenly Fate rankings. He had always believed that a demonic star would appear on the Heavenly Fate rankings. Shirpatian and Emperor Azure were both demonic cultivators. However, both of them had already been eliminated, failing to live up to the expectations of everyone. Only Qin Wentian had slaughtered his way up until now. If it was really him, Qin Wentian would definitely be able to influence the fate of Grand Xia in the future. Would he stop here today? For the next 2 battles, Zhang Chen vs Qin Wentian, Chen Wang vs Si Qiong. Old Man Tianji slowly spoke. His gaze landed on Zhang Chen as he asked, "Zhang Chen, are you willing to continue? I need to rest for a while." Zhang Chen looked at Old Man Tianji as he slowly spoke. Old Man Tianji nodded, as he glanced in the direction of Qin Wentian. After which, he spoke, "Since this is the case, let the battle between Chen Wang and Si Qiong begin first." MHM. The spectators were all stunned when they heard Old Man Tianji's words. The battle between Chen Wang and Si Qiong would begin first. This battle might very well be the final battle of the Heavenly Fate rankings. Originally, it should have been ranked last, why did it have to be started first? In the ranking battle of the Heavenly Fate rankings, it was usually reserved for the final battle. There were very few exceptions. Earlier, when they saw Zhang Chen's trump card, many believed that he would be able to defeat Qin Wentian, becoming the number 3 ranker of the Heavenly Fate rankings while Qin Wentian was ranked number 4. In that case, Chen Wang and Si Qiong would be the final battle. The Elder of Heavenly Secrets had actually brought forward the decisive battle. Many people didn't understand, but since the start of time, the authority to decide the Heavenly Fate rankings had always been in the hands of Old Man Tianji from the Venerate Heaven sect. The blazing rays of the sun cascaded down onto the arena platform. Chen Wang and Si Qiong walked up, basking in the sunlight as they attracted the attention of countless spectators. Today, who would become the most dazzling figure in the Heavenly Fate rankings? Was it Chen Wang or Si Qiong? Your strength isn't bad. Although I don't have much interest in the Heavenly Fate rankings, since I'm already standing here, the number 1 position naturally belongs to me. Si Qiong stared at Chen Wang as he calmly stated. It was as though the number 1 position was already in his bag. In the previous Heavenly Fate rankings, I was ranked 2nd. Today, the position of 1st shall belong to me. Even if it's you, you won't be able to block my path. Chen Wang similarly stared at Si Qiong, exuding a domineering aura. He was Chen Wang, he wanted the number 1 position in the Heavenly Fate rankings. He had been waiting for this day for a very long time. Since this is the case, let's talk with our strength. Si Qiong was extremely calm, as though nothing could cause his heart to waver. Chen Wang's body began to combust. Under the sunlight, he was bathed in flames. His blood, bones, and his entire body transformed into a body of fire. His third astral soul, the strongest astral soul, was released. Above his head, a great sun venerable appeared, fusing together with the sun, causing the terrifying temperature to engulf the entire arena platform. It was as though anyone who dared to approach him would die, burned to death by the flames of the great sun venerable. Si Qiong similarly released his third astral soul. It was a terrifying evil soul that had a pair of soul-stirring eyes, capable of causing the souls of those who stared at it to waver. Ping! Ping! Astral light erupted as both of them used stellar transposition at the first instant. In an instant, the two of them collided in the middle, so fast that the spectators couldn't even see where they had appeared from. A terrifying palm imprint of flames blasted out, wanting to annihilate everything. The scorching heat caused the water vapor in the air to evaporate, emitting a terrifying sizzling sound. Si Qiong's left hand stabbed out, instantly forming a shield of light. Chen Wang's flaming palm imprint slammed downwards, sinking deep into the shield, as though it had slammed into an incomparably soft mirror made of water. This was none other than the power of Si Qiong's mandate of water. Other than soul attacks, he was also proficient in the mandate of water. Only during the final battle, when he was fighting against Chen Wang, did he finally unleash his full potential. Ping! The water shield shattered as the terrifying flames caused it to explode. The temperature of Chen Wang's palm was too terrifying, it continued blasting toward Si Qiong. However, Si Qiong had already bought enough time to counter with a finger strike. The soul annihilation finger, a single finger strike could annihilate a soul. Split. Chen Wang spat out a cold voice. In an instant, Chen Wang's body split into three. One terrifying flame god after another appeared, each of them resembling a fiery god of war that had just emerged from magma. Such a scene caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. Number 1, Chen Wang wanted to be number 1. This was Chen Wang's true strength. He had been concealing it all this time, and only now did he unleash it all. Si Qiong was similarly terrifying. He only unleashed his full potential during the final battle. The three flaming bodies simultaneously rushed toward Si Qiong. The two flaming giants beside him exuded an aura so powerful that it was terrifying. They were at the pinnacle of Yuanfu, and were on the verge of breaking through to Yuanfu. Si Qiong stared at Chen Wang's silhouette in front of him. With a wave of his hands, a water shield appeared, trapping the flaming giants within. Si Qiong's movement technique was extremely terrifying, he unceasingly moved about, blasting out beams of finger light towards Chen Wang, wanting to destroy his soul. Speed, Si Qiong's speed is also so fast. Speed, soul annihilation attacks, water shield defense, Si Qiong simply has no weaknesses. The spectators couldn't help but to exclaim in admiration. Even Chen Wang was being suppressed by Si Qiong's soul attacks. Finally, with a howl of rage, the two flaming bodies merged together with Chen Wang's original body. Chen Wang's body grew larger, it was as though he had truly transformed into a flaming war god, exuding an aura that transcended beyond Yuanfu. Indeed, Chen Wang already had the ability to break through to Heavenly Dipper. It's just that he was suppressing it, waiting for the end of the Heavenly Fate rankings before he broke through. The current Chen Wang is already equivalent to a Heavenly Dipper sovereign. The hearts of the spectators sighed, this was too shocking. Chen Wang's astral soul had already fused together with his body. No one doubted that Chen Wang would break through to Heavenly Dipper the moment the Heavenly Fate rankings ended. Not only that, based on his attainments in the mandate of mandate, once he broke through to Heavenly Dipper, his speed wouldn't be any slower compared to those who had already broken through to Heavenly Dipper. Hence, Chen Wang didn't lose much by waiting for the Heavenly Fate rankings. On the contrary, he had gained quite a bit. Chen Wang, who was now one with Si Qiong, erupted with lava flames. His palms blasted out once more as a gigantic flaming palm imprint covered the entire space in front of him. Si Cheong soared up into the air, his palms slashing out as a prison of water appeared. His silhouette shot towards Chen Wang, his 5 palms striking out at the same time, aiming for Chen Wang's head. Roar! Chen Wang opened his mouth and spat out flames. After which, the flames abruptly solidified, causing the space in front of him to solidify. Even the water screen was about to solidify. Si Cheong was actually trapped within. You've lost. Chen Wang roared as he slammed out with his palms. Si Cheong's body was flung through the air, and at the instant the flames exploded, Si Cheong's countenance turned pale. This strongest dark horse ultimately didn't make it to the end, he was defeated by Chen Wang. However, this battle at the pinnacle had truly broadened the horizons of the spectators. This was the Heavenly Fate rankings this time around, so powerful that it caused the spectators to feel stifled. Si Cheong stood up, staring at Chen Wang. Drawing in a deep breath, Si Cheong calmly stated, "You indeed have the qualifications to contend for the top spot in the Heavenly Fate rankings. Congratulations on obtaining the first position." Chen Wang's countenance turned calm as he inclined his head, staring at the skies. "You're already very strong. After this battle, I'm afraid I'll need to rest for a long period of time before I can fully recover." "It's not easy to obtain the first position," Chen Wang calmly stated. The spectators inclined their heads and stared at the arena platform as they sighed in their hearts. This battle at the pinnacle was truly fascinating. Chen Wang truly deserved to be the first. Has the Heavenly Fate rankings already ended? A discordant voice abruptly rang out, filled with doubt. The gazes of the spectators shifted over, only to see Qin Wentian floating in the air, staring at Chen Wang and Si Cheong. The two of them kept on referring to themselves as the top ranker, as though the ranking battle had already ended. Chen Wang glanced at Qin Wentian, as a look of disdain flashed in his eyes. "Count yourself lucky that you didn't encounter me this time around. Don't tell me you want to fight against me in your current state." A mocking smile appeared on Qin Wentian's face. "If that's the case, I can ask Senior for permission. I don't mind blasting you off the platform." Chen Wang furrowed his brows. His current state wasn't very good. "Ridiculous," Chen Wang icily replied. "Ridiculous." A demonic light flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes as he coldly stated, "The ranking battle hasn't ended yet, and the top ranker has yet to be determined. How shameless can you be? If you were to be defeated, wouldn't you be throwing away all your face?" As the sound of his voice faded, Qin Wentian was already standing on the arena platform. The powerful purgatory vermilion bird hovered behind him, its eyes gleaming with a terrifying sharpness as it stared at Chen Wang. Qin Wentian quietly stood on the arena platform, demonic qi billowing out from him. This scene caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble, as they felt that it was extremely interesting. This Qin Wentian hadn't given up yet, he still wanted to fight for the top spot. But although he wasn't bad, if he wanted to contend against Chen Wang, he still had to defeat Zhang Chen and Si Cheong first. "You're truly confident." A voice drifted over. The spectators only saw Zhang Chen stepping onto the arena platform, coldly laughing as he stared at Qin Wentian. "Finally, we're face to face. This time around, you better think about how you're going to survive." Qin Wentian also stared at Zhang Chen. This was someone he had to defeat no matter what. Regardless of whether it was for the top 3 rankings, or for the promise he made to Mo Qincheng, as long as he defeated Zhang Chen, everything would be accomplished. "Where does your confidence come from? It's been so many years, yet you're still at this level of strength." Qin Wentian mocked. "Is that so? At the very least, with your current cultivation base at the 8th level of Yuanfu, do you really think you can contend against me?" The sharpness in Zhang Chen's voice grew denser and denser. The person he wanted to defeat and kill the most, was none other than Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's demonic eyes stared up at the skies as the corners of his lips curled up. When he turned his gaze back to Zhang Chen, the aura he exuded exploded forth in a frenzy. Taking a step forward, a terrifying demonic aura gushed out from his body. The energy he exuded seemed to be boiling as a raging wind swept across the area. "Who told you that I'm at the 8th level of Yuanfu?" Qin Wentian roared. The instant his foot landed, the aura of a cultivator at the 9th level of Yuanfu gushed forth, gushing towards Zhang Chen. Chapter 387. 9th level of Yuanfu. Qin Wentian's cultivation base wasn't at the 8th level, but rather, the 9th. Chen Wang, Si Qiong, and Zhang Chen had all been concealing their true strength. Qin Wentian, on the other hand, had been concealing his cultivation base. Only at this moment, when everyone thought that the victor had already been decided and the curtains of the ranking battle were about to fall, did he step out. Only now did the spectators realize that before this, no one had been able to force Chen Wang and Si Qiong to use their full strength. Similarly, no one had been able to force Qin Wentian to use his full strength. At this moment, the spectators couldn't help but to recall the arrogance Qin Wentian displayed when he fought against Emperor Azure. He was absolutely confident that he could defeat Emperor Azure in 10 breaths of time, because he knew that his cultivation base wasn't at the 8th level, but the 9th. When did he step into the 9th level of Yuanfu? At this moment, a question popped up in the minds of the spectators. When the ranking battle started, Qin Wentian was definitely at the 7th level of Yuanfu. There was no doubt about this. He was forced into the cave by Chen Wang, and after he came out, he was already at the 8th level of Yuanfu. But when did he step into the 9th level? Not only that, it hadn't been too long since the Heavenly Fate rankings had started, yet Qin Wentian had already broken through 2 levels. Although the geniuses of the Heavenly Fate rankings had all undergone some transformations, Qin Wentian's transformation was still too terrifying. Mo Qingcheng and Bai Qing stood together. At this moment, Bai Qing had already removed her long robes, revealing her graceful and beautiful figure. Every time the spectators saw her, they would all sigh in amazement. They didn't dare to believe that such a beautiful woman would actually cultivate such a tyrannical devil art. Wentian Gige is so powerful, he's actually at the 9th level of Yuanfu. He promised that he would defeat Zhang Chen, he would definitely do it. Mo Qingcheng had a smile on her face. It seemed like her limit break pellets weren't wasted. As long as Qin Wentian defeated Zhang Chen, her master, Luo He, wouldn't obstruct him anymore. Those from the White Deer Institute couldn't help but to exclaim in admiration. Never would they have imagined that Qin Wentian would be able to reach this step. Not only that, he was only a single step away from achieving what they wanted Qin Wentian to do. Although Zhang Chen had a terrifying secret art, would Qin Wentian, who was at the 9th level of Yuanfu, be defeated? For some reason, although Qin Wentian was facing Zhang Chen, no one was optimistic about Zhang Chen's chances. Everyone's confidence was all placed on Qin Wentian. Naturally, they had reason to believe in Qin Wentian. When Qin Wentian was at the 8th level of Yuanfu, he was able to conceal his true strength. This indicated that he had been suppressing his own strength in the earlier battles. Now that he had broken through to the next level, all the power he could erupt with would be amplified. This was a power that was completely under his control, it wasn't a secret technique. "Zhang Chen, what do you have to fight me?" Qin Wentian's voice was ice cold as he lunged towards Zhang Chen. "When you were at the peak of Yuanfu, I was only at the low level of Yuanfu. You aren't even qualified to stand with me on the arena platform." Zhang Chen's countenance stiffened as he stared at Qin Wentian. How did he do it? He actually broke through to the 9th level of Yuanfu. This caused Zhang Chen to feel an immense pressure bearing down on him. If he was defeated by Qin Wentian, what glory would he have left? His goal was to slay Qin Wentian on the Heavenly Fate ranking platform. Chen Wang didn't understand, he remembered that Qin Wentian's cultivation base was at the 7th level of Yuanfu. When did you step into the 9th level of Yuanfu? Chen Wang coldly asked. Qin Wentian swept a glance at him, the coldness in his eyes was as cold as ever. I have to thank you for hunting me down. If not, I wouldn't have been able to step into the 9th level so quickly. Chen Wang had chased Qin Wentian within the Vermilion Bird Formation grounds, forcing him into the cave. After which, Hua Feng, Situ Pe, and Yang Fan waited for him outside the cave, humiliating him and even insulting Mo Qincheng. Qin Wentian's rage towered to the heavens, and in a fit of rage, he was prepared to consume the limit break pellet. At that time, his Yuanfu started to rumble, showing signs of breaking through on its own. Hence, Qin Wentian endured it. He didn't consume the limit break pellet at that time, relying on his own strength to break through to the 8th level of Yuanfu. After which, he impatiently barged into the cave and slaughtered Orphan and the rest in the most tyrannical manner possible. As for how he broke through to the 9th level of Yuanfu, it was because he had entered the cave of the demonic divinity sacrificial transformation, and had also consumed the limit break pellet. Qin Wentian didn't reply to Chen Wang's question. He stared at him for a moment before coldly replying, let's hope that you, the top ranker of the heavenly fate rankings, will be able to last until the end. If not, you will lose face in front of the entire Grand Xiao. Do you really think that just because you've broken through to the 9th level of Yuanfu, you have the qualifications to contend against me? Disdain flickered in Chen Wang's eyes. How could Qin Wentian's breakthrough in cultivation be able to shake his position? Let's finish the battle with Zhang Chen first. You can fantasize about it later. To me, it doesn't matter if you hide your cultivation or not. Chen Wang, who was standing beside Qin Wentian, slowly spoke as he walked down the arena platform. He needed to recover his strength. Earlier, he had paid a heavy price to defeat Si Qiong. Currently, the astral energy in his body was almost completely depleted. Si Qiong flicked his sleeves as he similarly walked down the arena platform. In the blink of an eye, only 2 people remained on the arena platform. Zhang Chen, Qin Wentian. Would this battle be the final battle for the heavenly fate rankings? As long as Zhang Chen won, the ranking battle would be over. Before Qin Wentian revealed his strength at the 9th level of Yuanfu, the spectators initially thought that this would be the final battle. But now, they couldn't help but be filled with anticipation. Maybe, the heavenly fate rankings would continue. I've already thought of a way to survive, why haven't I acted yet? Qin Wentian stared at Zhang Chen. Earlier, Zhang Chen's arrogant words made Qin Wentian think carefully about how he should survive the upcoming battles. Zhang Chen's body was clad in a golden armor. His lips trembled as he closed his eyes, summoning the will of the ancient. Bzzz. A raging wind gusted as a pair of wings unfurled on Qin Wentian's back. His silhouette abruptly vanished, and with a speed akin to lightning, he instantly appeared in front of Zhang Chen. With a single palm strike, the entire space trembled as the roar of a dragon shook the heavens and earth. Zhang Chen abruptly opened his eyes as he slashed out with his sword. However, under the terrifying might of Qin Wentian's attack, his sword was completely destroyed. Boom! An immense force slammed into Zhang Chen, causing him to be flung through the air. His countenance paled as he coughed out fresh blood. Strength, this was an absolute suppression of strength. With his cultivation base at the 9th level of Yuanfu, Qin Wentian's astral energy was condensed into an attack. In addition to his mandate of force and mandate of demons, the power of his attack was unimaginable. Just a single strike had caused Zhang Chen to spit out blood. Zhang Chen floated in the air, his sharp eyes staring at Qin Wentian, his countenance ashen. Don't tell me you think that I should just stand here and wait for you to use your secret art before we fight. An intense killing intent flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes, piercing through Zhang Chen's own. This battle is a battle of life and death. As the sound of his voice faded, his silhouette vanished once again. The third eye in the center of his brows swept past Zhang Chen as a terrifying will of mandate gushed forth. The golden light radiating from Zhang Chen's body grew even more intense as a ruthless light flickered in his eyes. At the instant he closed his eyes, a surge of energy that didn't belong to him pulsed within him. No matter what secret art you have, you won't have the chance to use it anymore. A voice directly penetrated into Zhang Chen's mind. At this moment, Zhang Chen could already see Qin Wentian's tyrannical palm strike gushing towards him. Lifting his hands, he slashed out with his sword. However, Qin Wentian transformed into a myriad of illusory images that attacked him. Zhang Chen's sword slashed out in a frenzy as the aura emanating from him grew increasingly terrifying. But at this moment, not many people were paying attention to Zhang Chen. They were all staring at Qin Wentian. Because Zhang Chen's sword slashed out in a haphazard manner while Qin Wentian quietly stood in the air, his eyes gleaming with a hint of playfulness. This caused the spectators to be filled with disbelief. Was this really a battle between Zhang Chen and Qin Wentian? Why was there such a dramatic turn of events? If one's heart is in chaos, how can one's will be so firm? How can one differentiate between reality and illusion? Qin Wentian mumbled. Zhang Chen's strength wasn't so weak, but fear had already filled his heart. Hence, when Qin Wentian unleashed his second-level mandate of dreams, the mandate of dream will, Zhang Chen naturally believed it to be real, unable to differentiate between reality and illusion. This was similar to the time when he fought against Sherpatian. He used his speed to unleash frenzied attacks, but in the end, Sherpatian was enraged and frustrated. After that, Qin Wentian didn't attack, only unleashing his will. Yet, what he saw was still a sky full of attacks. The mandate of dreams was even more tyrannical compared to the mandate of illusions. It could cause one to sink into a dreamscape, unable to extricate themselves. A raging wind gusted by as Qin Wentian's silhouette vanished once again. Zhang Chen's sword slashed down, but in that instant, he seemed to have sensed something. A terrifying light flashed in his eyes as he stared at Qin Wentian. "Your life, I'll take it." A cold voice rang out. Qin Wentian violently blasted out with a palm strike, causing the entire space to tremble violently. The spectators froze, only to hear a deafening rumble as an incomparably violent force destroyed everything in its path. Zhang Chen's body was destroyed, and his head exploded. Qin Wentian, in the most tyrannical manner possible, killed Zhang Chen. Just like what he said, Zhang Chen's life was taken by him. In the Heavenly Fate Rankings battle, the heavens chosen of the Pill Emperor Hall, Zhang Chen, died in the hands of Qin Wentian. Such a scene was too shocking to the spectators, causing their hearts to be unable to calm down. In the air, at the place where Zhang Chen died, a golden orb could be seen flickering with a strange light. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with a cold light as he grabbed out with his palms, causing a terrifying energy to envelop the orb. Bzzz. An intense struggle erupted forth from the golden orb, causing Qin Wentian to snort. This should be the reason why Zhang Chen was acting strangely. Back then, the gold element ancient scroll he had tossed away wasn't anything good. Extinguish. Qin Wentian's finger landed, as a scream of agony rang out in the air. Instantly, the golden orb was destroyed, vanishing without a trace. The expressions of the spectators froze as they witnessed this scene. Even the experts in the hallway narrowed their eyes. That golden orb seemed to have a life of its own, and Qin Wentian didn't hesitate at all, directly destroying it with a single finger. Qin Wentian's decisiveness was terrifying, just like when he killed Zhang Chen, he didn't hesitate at all. He had a grudge with Zhang Chen, and if he wanted Zhang Chen to die, he wouldn't hesitate at all. He only knew that Zhang Chen had to die. Hence, he killed him. Chapter 388. Zhang Chen had fallen, the fourth position on the Heavenly Fate Rankings was now vacant. After the ranking battle concluded, the fourth position would be filled up again. And after this battle, Qin Wentian would officially become one of the top 3 rankers. As for his final ranking, it had yet to be determined. Bailu Yi and Bailu Jing all had smiles on their faces. Even the large-eyed elder from the White Deer Institute was smiling. Staring at the silhouette on the arena platform, he commented in a low voice, "This little brat actually managed to achieve such a feat in the ranking battle of the Heavenly Fate rankings, becoming one of the top 3 rankers. With such talent, his future achievements will be limitless." However, as the large-eyed elder spoke, traces of worry could be seen flickering in his eyes. Zhang Chen wasn't an ordinary character, he was a heaven's chosen from the Pill Emperor Hall. And in this ranking battle, Qin Wentian had already killed many heavens chosen from the transcendent powers. He had offended too many people, and this made the large-eyed elder worry for Qin Wentian. Even if Qin Wentian became the top ranker in the Heavenly Fate rankings, he had already formed a grudge with the transcendent powers. These people would only wish for Qin Wentian's death. Geniuses had to be strangled in the cradle. I wonder if it's a blessing or a curse for him to be so arrogant. Bailu Yi's father also sighed. This should be the nature of one's heart. Those who reached the pinnacle of the ancient times would never suppress their emotions, they would dare to love and hate. Their will was strong, their state of mind clear, and they wouldn't have any knots in their hearts. Even if they had to fight against the entire world, they had to follow their heart. Didn't the Azure Emperor also do the same back then? But what a pity, it was all because of this that he fell, the large-eyed elder spoke in a low voice. In this world, there were 2 types of people who could achieve greatness. The first type was like Qin Wentian and the Azure Emperor, showing off their sharpness, not suppressing their true heart, doing as they pleased. The other type was able to endure what others couldn't. They could disguise themselves to the extreme, like a gentleman, but in the dark, they were a devil that killed people like siding flax. Such a person's temperament was similarly terrifying, low-profile, and deep. But ultimately, it all came down to one's heart. If one's heart was strong enough, nothing would be able to shake it. Mo Qingqing stood on the stone platform with a smile on her face. Her white robes fluttered in the wind, her beauty capable of toppling empires. She stared at the silhouette of Qin Wentian on the arena platform, feeling pride for him. Along the way, he had experienced too many things. For her, he killed Hua Xiaoyun, and now, he defeated Zhang Chen, fulfilling his promise to her. There were simply too many people who were shocked and astonished as they stared at the silhouette on the arena platform. Behind him, the purgatory vermilion bird floated in the air, exuding a terrifying baleful light. It had devoured Zhang Chen's vermilion bird spirit, and it was like its master, Qin Wentian, wanting to sweep away everything in its path. Qin Wentian slowly turned his gaze to Si Qiong and Chen Wang. Chen Wang also opened his eyes and looked at Yi Futian. Their gazes met, and terrifying sharpness clashed in the air. There's one more battle, and I'll be standing in front of you. I hope that you can still hold on to your so-called number 1 position. Qin Wentian slowly spoke. After defeating Zhang Chen, he would fight against Si Qiong. If he lost, he would be ranked number 3. But if he defeated Si Qiong, he would stand at the pinnacle of the Heavenly Fate rankings and face off against Chen Wang. Qin Wentian was the same as Chen Wang, he had absolute confidence in himself. It was as though Si Qiong would become his stepping stone. His words completely disregarded Si Qiong's existence. There were some who felt that Qin Wentian was arrogant. But regardless of Chen Wang, Si Qiong, the defeated Sherpatian, or the dead Zhang Chen, who wasn't arrogant? If they didn't even have confidence in their own strength, how could they defeat them? That was a kind of conviction, a conviction that would allow one to press forward with indomitable will. Si Qiong's eyes gleamed with sharpness as he stared at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian was brazen, speaking to Chen Wang in such a manner was undoubtedly disregarding his existence. He, Si Qiong, came to Grand Xia to participate in the Heavenly Fate rankings with the intention of obtaining the number 1 position. Yet he was defeated by Chen Wang, he could only accept it. Chen Wang had stayed at the Heavenly Fate realm for a longer period of time than him, but against Qin Wentian, how could he lose a second battle? Although Qin Wentian had been concealing his true cultivation base, it was clear that he hadn't stayed at the heavenly fate realm for too long. If he were to lose again, he wouldn't be able to accept it. I'll give you all a day to rest. The next battle shall be between Qin Wentian and Si Qiong. Old man Tianji slowly spoke, causing the gazes of the crowd to turn to the wise and far-sighted silhouette. Could it be that old man Tianji had the foresight to arrange the battle between Chen Wang and Si Qiong? Could it be that he had foreseen something? Back then when old man Tianji had arranged for Chen Wang to fight against Si Qiong, the majority of the spectators had thought that it would be a decisive battle. But now, their assumptions had been overturned. Old man Tianji is able to pry into astral fate. Even if Qin Wentian concealed his cultivation base, the fluctuations of astral energy in his body shouldn't be able to fool old man Tianji. Old man Tianji should have already known that Qin Wentian had broken through to the 9th level of Yuanfu. The hearts of the spectators mused. For those with unique astral souls, or those who were proficient in sensing the fluctuations of astral energy, they would be able to tell the cultivation base of others with a single glance. Old man Tianji definitely had such an ability. He had long known that Zhang Chen would lose to Qin Wentian. In that case, did old man Tianji also believe that Qin Wentian would be able to defeat Si Qiong? If not, if Si Qiong won, the final battle would have been brought forward. Qin Wentian returned to the stone platform. Bai Qing's body was much better after consuming the medicinal pellet. She pulled on his arm as she smiled, "Wentian Gige, you're already in the top 3. You're also in the top 5, and you were the one who gave up." Qin Wentian rubbed Bai Qing's head, causing Bai Qing to slap his arm away. Glaring at him, she stated, "Wentian Gige, I'm no longer a little girl." Qin Wentian laughed as he stared at the mischievous look on Bai Qing's face. Back then, this little lass had indeed grown up. She was even more beautiful than her elder sister, and her figure was even better. "In my eyes, there's no difference." Qin Wentian laughed as he pinched her cheeks, causing Bai Qing to hatefully glare at him. This fellow had always liked to do this when they were young. Even now, he still loved to rub other people's heads and pinch their cheeks. How detestable. Humph, Bai Qing's lips twitched, yet she was feeling extremely happy in her heart. Such a feeling was so good. It was as though she had returned to that innocent and pure era, where she had no worries, sitting together with her Wentian Gige and chatting, not knowing what worries were. Now, she had finally returned to the past. "It's about time for you to recover your astral energy." Mo Qingqing tugged on Qin Wentian's arm. Qin Wentian looked at Mo Qingqing as he nodded his head. "The earlier battle didn't consume too much of my energy. This time around, old man Tianji gave me a day's worth of rest, it's more than enough. Don't worry, I know what you're thinking. I will take good care of myself." Qin Wentian tugged on Mo Qingqing's hand, exerting a slight amount of force. The two of them smiled at each other. Mo Qingqing wasn't thinking about whether Qin Wentian would be able to obtain the top ranker on the heavenly fate rankings, but rather, his safety. Qin Wentian sat cross-legged as Yuan meteor stones appeared in his hands. During this period of time, his consumption of Yuan meteor stones was extremely high. The amount of Yuan meteor stones he had on him was almost depleted. On the path of cultivation, the higher one's cultivation, the more resources they would need. After a short period of time, Qin Wentian replenished the astral energy in his Yuanfu. At the same time, he condensed some divine energy in preparation for battle. However, Qin Wentian didn't immediately open his eyes. Recently, there were many things happening around him that gave him a strange feeling. He wanted to connect the dots, yet he had no way to do so. For example, Yun Mengyi. Who was she? Was she really Princess Jianyu? And why did his biological father come to Grand Xia back then, bringing away a woman? Was that woman Yun Mengyi? If that was the case, Yun Mengyi shouldn't be so young. If he wanted to find out, the only way was to unravel the memories of his father. As he thought of this, Qin Wentian's attention landed on a tiny astral being in his sea of consciousness. Once again, he arrived at the boundless starry space. There were simply too many astral fragments here. Each and every one of them was a memory fragment. These few years, he had read many memory fragments, and would often see the silhouette of that middle-aged man. He had already gradually accepted the possibility that the middle-aged man was his biological father. These memory fragments were all trivial matters that happened when his father was still alive. One memory fragment after another was opened by Qin Wentian. He wanted to find the memories of his father back then in Grand Xia. After a long period of time, Qin Wentian's will retracted as he began to absorb the memory fragments. Within these memory fragments, he saw an elegant courtyard. The middle-aged man was sitting cross-legged there, cultivating. Above the sky, resplendent astral light cascaded down, landing on him. This courtyard seemed to be shrouded in a constellation, incomparably resplendent. How powerful! Qin Wentian couldn't help but to exclaim in admiration. However, at this moment, the middle-aged man coughed a few times as the constellation vanished. He coughed out a mouthful of black-colored blood as his countenance paled, as though he had suffered heavy injuries. Staring at the heavens, the middle-aged man's eyes flickered with a sense of melancholy, but soon after, they turned resolute. He stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his gaze akin to a terrifying sharp sword piercing through the clouds, as though wanting to tear apart the heavens. Just by casually standing there, he exuded a terrifying aura. Behind the middle-aged man, a silhouette slowly walked over. Staring at the back of the middle-aged man, he saw that the middle-aged man was kneeling on the ground, unmoving. The middle-aged man turned his head and walked over, helping the middle-aged man up as he ruthlessly patted the middle-aged man's shoulder, as though they were old friends that hadn't seen each other for a very long time. However, the middle-aged man's eyes were filled with respect. "It's him." At the instant he saw this silhouette, great waves of shock rose in Qin Wentian's heart. Everything that happened on the heavenly steel steps wasn't a coincidence. It was a test for him. Beside him, a silhouette appeared. It was none other than the young woman who bore a striking resemblance to Yunmengyi. And at this moment, the fragmented memories vanished without a trace. It was as though this was the end of the fragmented memories. Qin Wentian opened his eyes as a terrifying sharpness flickered within. Abruptly shifting his gaze over, Qin Wentian saw the silhouette of a young woman walking in his direction. This young woman was none other than Yunmengyi. Yunmengyi glanced at Mo Qingqing, feeling a sense of awe in her heart. No wonder Qin Wentian wasn't bewitched by her back then. So it turned out that he had such a beautiful lover. "I have some words I wish to speak with him alone." Yunmengyi spoke in a light voice. Mo Qingqing cast a glance at Qin Wentian before lightly nodding her head, pulling by Qing along as they walked away. "Who are you exactly?" Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness as he asked. "I've told you before, it's up to you whether you want to believe me or not. Now, I'm going to impart a set of oracular chant to you." Yunmengyi spoke to Qin Wentian, "Take out 3 sides of the divine steel and chant the oracular chant. You will be able to summon the ancient will of the heavenly steel, and combine the 9 sides into one. With that, you will be able to wield the 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xia. However, you have to think this through. The other 6 sides are still in the hands of the 6 transcendent powers of the 7 great clans." Chapter 389. When Qin Wentian heard Yunmengyi whispering in his ears, his heart involuntarily trembled. She had actually grasped the oracular chant to summon the heavenly steel. Could it be that what she said was true, that she was Princess Jianyu of Grand Xia? A low voice drifted into Qin Wentian's ears. Yunmengyi's lips moved as a cryptic incantation floated into Qin Wentian's mind. Such a scene was extremely intimate, causing the 2 beauties not far away to glare at them. "Sister Qingqing, how can you not be jealous? Bai Qing mischievously spoke, as though she was trying to sow discord between them. Mo Qingqing glared at Qin Wentian and Yun Mengyi with hidden bitterness, causing the hearts of those who looked at her to ache. I can't endure it. Bai Qing smiled. Mo Qingqing stared at her as she laughed. Qing lass, go ahead and rejoice in my misfortune. The gazes of many in the crowd shifted over. Many of them were filled with envy for Qin Wentian. Not only was his talent outstanding, he was also surrounded by beauties. What was even more terrifying was that these beauties weren't simple at all. Mo Qingqing, the #1 beauty in the Moon Continent, the heavens chosen of the Pill Emperor Hall, and Qin Wentian's lover. Bai Qing, for the sake of Qin Wentian, was willing to endure a palm strike from him, even disregarding her own life. From this, one could see how deep her feelings for Qin Wentian were. Not only that, she was also a heavens chosen from the mystic Moon Hall. Yun Mengyi, similarly, was ranked within the top 10 of the heavenly fate rankings. These three beauties could be said to be the most dazzling and outstanding ones in the heavenly fate rankings, and all three of them actually had a connection with Qin Wentian. How could the crowd not be envious? There's another secret I want to tell you. It's about the purgatory vermilion bird above your head. After Yun Mengyi finished imparting the incantation, she continued speaking to Qin Wentian, you are the first person to enter the vermilion bird formation. The spirit of the vermilion bird formation bestowed upon you the purgatory vermilion bird. As you grow stronger, the purgatory vermilion bird will also grow stronger, gaining sentience. Hence, the purgatory vermilion bird will unceasingly devour the ancient luck of others until the very end. It will be able to summon the true spirit of the vermilion bird formation. This is the benefit of being the first to enter the formation. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness. Yun Mengyi actually knew so much. Even if she wasn't Princess Jianyu, there was no doubt that she was related to the ancient kingdom. This caused Qin Wentian to gradually believe in her. The vermilion bird formation was a formation that even the transcendent powers had no way to see through. It was the #1 training ground for Yuanfu cultivators in Grand Xia, yet Yun Mengyi actually knew of its secrets. Before this, everyone only wanted to be the first to enter the formation, but they didn't know the secrets within. You've obtained the first position, and your efforts weren't in vain. Your vermilion bird spirit is connected to your heart and soul. If you want it to die, it will do so without hesitation. After speaking, Yun Mengyi turned and departed. An expression of contemplation appeared on Qin Wentian's face as he stared at her departing back. After which, he inclined his head and stared at the purgatory vermilion bird in the air. The body of the purgatory vermilion bird grew even larger, exuding a terrifying aura. A strand of will appeared in Qin Wentian's heart, and momentarily, the purgatory vermilion bird seemed to understand his intentions. It slowly landed in front of him and rubbed its head against his body. You're already a life form, how about becoming my companion in the future? Qin Wentian sighed. The vermilion bird's spirit was already a spiritual body, it already possessed life. The purgatory vermilion bird was incomparably excited when it heard Qin Wentian's words. After which, it soared into the air, circling above Qin Wentian's head as it let out a few cries of excitement. After which, it returned to Qin Wentian's embrace, appearing exceptionally quiet. Qin Wentian gently stroked the feathers of the purgatory vermilion bird as a gentle smile appeared on his face. Inclining his head, he smiled radiantly at Mo Qingqing and Bai Qing as they walked over. At this moment, the demonic young man was filled with a sense of tranquility. His smile was sincere and radiant, completely different from the demonic and violent demonic aura he had displayed on the arena platform. It's about to begin. Mo Qingqing sat beside Qin Wentian, swinging her legs as she leaned against Qin Wentian's arm. In her heart, a faint trace of worry could be seen. Would Qin Wentian be able to retreat unscathed from the ranking battle? She could only hope that nothing bad would happen to him. It's about to begin. Qin Wentian spoke in a light voice. The two of them leaned against each other, this scene was like a scene straight out of a painting, causing people to not be able to bear to disturb them. Over the horizon, the sun gradually set. Rainbow-colored clouds floated in the air, creating a dazzling scene. "How beautiful," Mo Qingqing murmured. Just like the winter snow, beautiful and warm." Qin Wentian's face was filled with a gentle smile. The two of them were like an immortal couple. "Qin Wentian." A voice drifted over. Si Qiong's silhouette appeared on the arena platform. His gaze was filled with coldness as he stared at Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing. Qin Wentian dared to disregard him, arrogantly declaring that he would face Chen Wang head-on. Where did this place him? Si Qiong, stand. The spectators stared at Si Qiong, they could feel the intense battle intent radiating from him. Were the two dark horses about to clash? Before this, Si Qiong had always been regarded as the strongest dark horse. But now, Qin Wentian had slain Zhang Chen, challenging him to a duel. Next, the two most dazzling dark horses in the heavenly fate rankings would face off against each other. Who would be the strongest dark horse? Qin Wentian slowly stood up, smiling at Mo Qingqing. After which, he turned and walked out, instantly appearing on the arena platform. Above his head, the purgatory vermilion bird let out a shrill cry as a baleful light shot toward Si Qiong and the vermilion bird behind him, exuding a tyrannical aura. Your vermilion bird ancient luck seems to be afraid. Qin Wentian casually stood there. The current him gave off a different feeling, as though the moment this delicate-looking young man erupted with power, he would be extremely terrifying. It's just ancient luck, it's not that important. But since you rejected the exchange, I really want to see what's in your memories. Si Qiong coldly spoke. He was proficient in soul attacks, and one of his soul attacks was the soul search art. The first time he used it, was against Mu Feng, but he failed and was poisoned. This time around, he wanted to search Qin Wentian's soul. In that case, let's fight. Qin Wentian faintly spoke. At this instant, a light breeze drifted past, fluttering the robes of the two of them. The entire space was incomparably silent. This was the battle for the position of the strongest dark horse. If Si Qiong won, he would be ranked number 2. If Qin Wentian won, he would fight against Chen Wang for the position of the top ranker. Qin Wentian stretched out his palms as demonic qi enveloped them. His arms transformed into the arms of a Kirin, glowing with a crimson light as a terrifying roar echoed out. After stepping into the 9th level of Yuanfu, how strong would Qin Wentian be? Even Qin Wentian himself didn't know. He hadn't unleashed his full strength yet. Fiend Transformation Art, 2nd level Mandate of Demons, 2nd level Mandate of Force, stacking the power of his primordial demonic bloodline, in addition to the divine energy in his body as well as the amplification from his astral souls, what level would his strength reach? Even he himself didn't know. Kacha. A crisp sound rang out as the divine energy in Qin Wentian's Yuanfu started to tremble violently. Although he was still standing there, he gave off a feeling of strength. A demonic wind gusted as a pair of demonic wings appeared on Qin Wentian's back. With the Fiend Transformation Art, he could condense demonic wings with just a single thought. Si Qiong felt the pressure as his astral souls erupted forth. His first astral soul was a wind-type astral soul, his second was a coiling water python, and his third was an evil soul. Not only that, based on the luster of his 3 astral souls, it was clear that they originated from the 4th heavenly layer, 4th heavenly layer and 5th heavenly layer respectively. How terrifying! The hearts of the spectators trembled. In terms of astral souls, there weren't many who could be compared to Si Qiong. You want to defeat me? Have you ever seen such an astral soul before? Si Qiong's lips moved again as a soul-sucking melody permeated the air, unceasingly seeping into Qin Wentian's ears. If one's soul was shaken, how could one fight? His evil soul stared at Qin Wentian, wanting to affect Qin Wentian's soul as well. Boom! In the center of Qin Wenqian's brows, a third eye opened as a resplendent light flashed. His third astral soul was unleashed, it was the demon sovereign astral soul. At the instant his astral soul was released, a terrifying golden light circulated, causing the hearts of the spectators to tremble. As expected of the number 1 ranked demon sovereign astral soul in the War Beast Index. The hearts of the spectators trembled. They had personally witnessed Qin Wenqian unleashing his demon sovereign astral soul within the Vermilion Bird formation. 5th Heavenly Layer. Si Qiong furrowed his brows. But so what of it? For the top rankers on the Heavenly Fate rankings, their third astral souls originated from the 5th Heavenly Layer. Boom! Qin Wenqian took another step forward as he released his Great Dreams astral soul. A resplendent light flashed in the eyes of the spectators, causing their hearts to tremble. 5th Heavenly Layer. Qin Wenqian's second astral soul was also condensed from the 5th Heavenly Layer, causing Si Qiong to feel drowsy. If it wasn't for his strong will, ordinary Yuanfu cultivators would have already fallen asleep under the pressure of this domain, allowing themselves to be trampled upon. What a terrifying astral soul, how strong is his perception. The hearts of the spectators trembled. Qin Wenqian's second astral soul was already from the 5th Heavenly Layer. Frog at the bottom of a well. Qin Wenqian spat out, causing Si Qiong's countenance to turn incredibly unsightly. As the sound of his voice faded, he was ruthlessly slapped across the face by Qin Wenqian. Let me show you what an astral soul is. Qin Wenqian took another step forward as his first astral soul, the Heavenly Hammer astral soul, appeared. The light it emitted caused the hearts of the spectators to palpitate uncontrollably. 3 astral souls from the 5th Heavenly Layer. What concept was this? Ever since Qin Wenqian stepped onto the path of cultivation, he was already able to condense an astral soul from the 5th Heavenly Layer. How was this possible? How could he, Qin Wenqian, accomplish this? Bai Qingsong and Autumn Snow, who were in the crowd, were also stunned. So it turned out that when Qin Wenqian showed them his third astral soul, it was because he didn't want it to be too shocking. Have you seen it before? Qin Wenqian spat out a single word. Si Qiong only felt that this slap was extremely resounding. However, at this moment, Qin Wenqian's silhouette disappeared. Ping! At the instant Qin Wenqian moved, Si Qiong executed stellar transposition and fled. However, he only saw Qin Wenqian instantly changing directions. Like a bolt of lightning, he stabbed out with a single finger. Instantly, a terrifying storm of demonic qi engulfed the entire space, completely enveloping it. As the finger descended, everything in the air transformed into demonic sword light, descending upon Si Qiong with terrifying speed. The entire space seemed to be on the verge of collapsing, transforming into a black hole made of swords. The energy of the entire heavens and earth were all sucked into the black hole. Although it seemed slow, it only took an instant for the sword light to reach Si Qiong. Si Qiong's countenance turned pale. His attack, defense, and speed were all extremely terrifying. For his soul attacks, he had the water armor for defense. However, in terms of strength, he was still lacking. This was also the reason why he was defeated by Chen Wang. And at this moment, Qin Wenqian didn't make a move. But when he did, it was earth-shattering. With a single finger, the black hole formed of swords pierced toward Si Qiong's heart. No matter how fast Si Qiong's speed was, no matter how strong his soul attacks were, no matter how powerful his water armor was, there was no way he could defend against this terrifying attack. Maybe Chen Wang could use his most violent attacks to counter it, but Si Qiong couldn't. Boom! A resplendent stream of light flashed as Si Qiong's body was clad in a water screen armor. This armor was formless, akin to water that draped over his body. The sword light from the black hole landed on Si Qiong's body, causing him to be flung through the air. The purgatory vermilion bird had devoured his ancient luck. Si Qiong actually broke the rules and used a divine weapon. That divine weapon is formless and formless. Si Qiong must have come from a terrifying power, using it to protect his life at the critical moment. Seeing Si Qiong's body being blasted off the platform, Qin Wentian's countenance was calm as he glanced at him. A hint of mockery could be heard in his voice, can't even withstand a single strike, using a divine weapon to protect his life. How pitiful. However, Qin Wentian understood that given Si Qiong's background, even if he broke the rules, Old Man Tianji and the rest wouldn't dare to do anything to him. Hence, Qin Wentian no longer looked at Si Qiong. He shifted his gaze onto Chen Wang. His eyes were like sharp swords, piercing through space, landing on Chen Wang. It's your turn. Chapter 390. It's your turn now. A calm voice resounded through the air. Qin Wentian was as indifferent as ever, as though his victory over Si Qiong wasn't even worth mentioning. He didn't even treat Si Qiong as his opponent. Qin Wentian, the strongest dark horse, had finally reached the end and issued a challenge to Chen Wang. Only then would he be able to challenge the highest ranker on the heavenly fate rankings. Resplendent astral souls, a dazzling purgatory vermilion bird, and a demonic silhouette. At this moment, the feeling Qin Wentian gave off was akin to a monarch descending from the heavens. Although he was still young, he already exuded an imposing aura. He casually stood there, as though he was looking down on all living things. Even someone as powerful as Si Qiong couldn't even withstand a single strike. With just a single strike, he was blasted off the stage, using his divine weapon to preserve his life. At this moment, Si Qiong's countenance was incomparably unsightly, alternating between shades of green and purple. The divine weapon on his body gradually vanished, transforming back into nothingness. He came to participate in the heavenly fate rankings because he wanted to obtain the secret art of Grand Xiao. While he was at it, he also wanted to seize the top ranker position. Yet in the end, he was only ranked third. What was even more lamentable was that his final battle on the heavenly fate rankings was the most humiliating battle of his entire life. A single strike, only a single strike. He had broken the rules, yet Qin Wentian couldn't even be bothered to glance at him. He only calmly spoke. Couldn't even withstand a single strike, using his divine weapon to preserve his life. How lamentable. How lamentable. He, Si Qiong, had never suffered such humiliation before. Nobody looked at him again. Although he had broken the rules and should have been punished, nobody cared about it now. In this battle platform, the winner was always the king, and the loser was the villain. No matter how dazzling your performance was, there was only one person who would be remembered by the countless spectators. That person was the top ranker. Glancing left and right, Si Qiong couldn't see many gazes on him. Even if there were, they were filled with pity. He had lost too miserably in this battle, too humiliating. He even wanted to roar in rage and fight again. Yet all he could do was silently descend to the ground, staring at the silhouette that issued the final challenge to Chen Wang. Chen Wang inclined his head, staring at the silhouette on the arena platform. When he saw Qin Wentian exploding forth with a single strike against Si Qiong, Chen Wang finally felt the threat. That silhouette on the arena platform had the strength to fight against him. Qin Wentian's 3 astral souls were all so dazzling that even he had no choice but to admit that in the entire Grand Xia, he had never seen a second astral soul like Qin Wentian. 3 astral souls from the 5th heavenly layer. Qin Wentian had completely toppled the understanding of the crowd. Although the figures in the void corridor appeared calm, they were extremely shocked in their hearts. From the start of the heavenly fate rankings, that inconspicuous young man had now become the most dazzling existence. In terms of talent, there was no doubt that he had already surpassed Chen Wang. Even if he was defeated, the spectators couldn't help but admit that Chen Wang's talent was still a far cry from Qin Wentian's. What kind of monster did you meet? Bailu Jing drew in a deep breath, he didn't know how to describe Qin Wentian. Maybe, he could only use the word monster to describe him. How could she have known that Qin Wentian would be able to achieve such a feat? He was only 20 years of age, yet he was already standing at the peak of the heavenly fate rankings. Who would have thought that? Even the White Deer Institute didn't dare to imagine this. What was even more shocking was that Qin Wentian's attainments in the Tao of Divine Inscriptions were already at the level of a fourth-ranked Grandmaster, and that was before he was 19 years old. Those from the Ouyang aristocrat clan were all stunned, yet they only saw an expression of excitement on Ouyang Quangxing's face. This bastard truly caused them to be speechless, giving them such a huge surprise. However, this was truly exciting enough. Ouyang Ting was completely dumbfounded, she didn't dare to believe that what she was seeing was real. Bai Fei from the Pill Emperor Hall also had the same feeling as Ouyang Ting. Bai Fei had always been secretly in love with Zhang Chen. She had always been secretly in love with that heavens chosen from the Pill Emperor Hall. However, he had died in Qin Wentian's hands. This young man whom she had once humiliated and disdained, his radiance had long surpassed that of Zhang Chen. Staring at the three astral souls, as well as the fact that Qin Wentian issued a challenge to Chen Wang, Bai Fei didn't know why, but she couldn't bring herself to hate Qin Wentian at all. Maybe it was because she truly felt that she and Qin Wentian weren't people from the same world. They weren't even on the same level. She was merely a jackdaw, while Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing were the two phoenixes. She couldn't help but sigh, the changes in the world were too fast. Not even 5 years had passed, yet the heavens and earth had been turned upside down. A young man and woman from a small country had already appeared before the eyes of the people of Grand Xia, dominating the heavenly fate rankings. The once proud and arrogant Bai Fei, in front of them, seemed so tiny and insignificant. Xu Wanyu was also staring at Qin Wentian in the air. She couldn't help but to feel a sense of absurdity. Back then when Qin Wentian kidnapped her, what would happen if something happened between the two of them? Xu Wanyu cursed herself silently, yet she knew that the shock brought to her by this young man would forever be imprinted in her mind. Because once upon a time, she had been abducted by this man, and it was precisely because of this memory that she couldn't remember, that she could feel the impact of it even more. Chen Wang's silhouette finally stepped onto the Vermilion Bird Arena platform, walking in front of Qin Wentian. In the vast space, not a single sound could be heard. This battle would be the final showdown, it would determine who would be the first ranker on the heavenly fate rankings. Who would stand at the peak? They had once thought that Chen Wang would be the first ranker for sure. But now, they started to doubt themselves. The impact brought to them by Qin Wentian was too great. Qin Wentian was an unrivaled existence at the same level, but after he revealed his cultivation base at the 9th level of Yuanfu, would Chen Wang be able to stop him? The answer would be revealed in this battle. Chen Wang didn't say anything. The flames on his body erupted forth as the astral light shone resplendently. He actually had 2 fire-type astral souls. The first was a flame incarnation astral soul, while the second was a magma giant astral soul. Both of them were filled with the power of fire, and the third astral soul was a psychedelic shadow astral soul. This psychedelic shadow astral soul allowed him to summon an incarnation as strong as himself for combat. The combination of these 3 astral souls, in addition to Chen Wang's great solar universe art, allowed his combat prowess to reach the pinnacle of Yuanfu. He could even defeat those who had just broken through to Heavenly Dipper. Before this, Chen Wang had always been the one with the strongest attacks. But now, the person standing in front of him actually had the qualifications to challenge him. Qin Wentian's strength was also so overwhelming that it caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. Boom, boom. The 2 magma giants formed by Chen Wang separated from Chen Wang's body, exuding an aura so terrifying that it caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. And at the same time, Qin Wentian stared at the heavens. A resplendent beam of astral light shot down from the heavens, cascading onto him as a gigantic figure descended from the skies. Pang! A raging wind swept across the heavens and earth. The descent of the golden primal ape caused the entire vermilion bird arena platform to tremble violently. It was as though a golden primal ape had descended from the heavens, causing the hearts of the spectators to shudder. Pang, 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 one after another, terrifying ancient demonic beasts descended upon the arena platform. They were all summoned by Qin Wentian. Back then, Qin Wentian had obtained quite a number of demonic beasts from the refinement grounds. From there, he was able to sense their corresponding constellations in the heavens. Hence, Qin Wentian was able to summon them here. Not only that, right now, Qin Wentian's cultivation base was already at the 9th level of Yuanfu. These summoned demonic beasts were all at the pinnacle of Yuanfu, just short of breaking through to Yuanfu. Before this, he had always been able to summon demonic beasts across realms, but this time around, because he had already reached the critical point of his cultivation base, he was unable to do so. However, the summoned demonic beasts were all at the pinnacle of Yuanfu. Each and every one of them was so terrifying that it caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. Chen Wang's clones, as well as the demonic beasts summoned by Qin Wentian, all dashed out, madly clashing against each other. In an instant, the entire arena platform trembled unceasingly. That terrifying collision contained an incomparable amount of power, yet Qin Wentian and Chen Wang still stood opposite each other, staring at each other. In their eyes, there was only their opponent. I really want to see how strong you are. Chen Wang stepped out, his body was like flames, akin to a fiery god of war. As you wish. Qin Wentian calmly replied as he similarly stepped out towards his opponent. Boundless power was contained within his arms. Both of their fists blasted out at the same time. Fiery fists and demonic fists instantly collided together. The flames on Chen Wang's body surged up to Qin Wentian's arms, turning his entire body into a ball of fire. This is still not enough. Qin Wentian stared at his opponent as he calmly spoke. He retracted his fist and punched out once more. Chen Wang did the same as Qin Wentian, punching out with his great solar universe art to the extreme, as well as his will of mandates. Boom, boom, boom. With Qin Wentian and Chen Wang at the center, terrifying currents of energy flowed around them in a frenzy. On both sides of them, the clones and demonic beasts were also frenziedly clashing against each other. Such a tyrannical style of combat caused the blood of the spectators to boil. Qin Wentian's body was about to transform into a body of flames, while Chen Wang's internal organs felt as though they were about to shatter. The will of their mandates were acting on their bodies. Pang! Another violent collision. Chen Wang was forced back a few steps. His two clones also retreated to his side, fusing together with him. He transformed into a flaming giant, glaring at Qin Wentian as though he wanted to crush Qin Wentian into pieces. Boom! Qin Wentian's physique was also undergoing a transformation. His bloodline frenziedly surged as he unleashed the full might of the fiend transformation art. His physique grew taller and taller, resembling a monarch of the heavens. The two of them rushed towards each other once more. The demonic beasts summoned by Qin Wentian also rushed towards Chen Wang. An incomparably gigantic flaming palm slammed towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian didn't use his speed to evade, instead, he used the most direct method to respond. The ancient imprint in his palms blasted out as the divine energy in his body erupted forth. Pang, pang, the heavens and earth trembled as the demonic beasts frenziedly attacked Chen Wang. They didn't evade, but chose to clash head-on. Chen Wang's second level of mandates had already reached the advanced boundary, and he cultivated the great solar universe art. His great solar body seemed to be able to amplify his attacks, causing his strength to be unimaginably strong. However, Qin Wentian's strength was also at the pinnacle of the same level. It was unknown how terrifying his strength was. Rumble. Finally, a deafening sound echoed out as one of Chen Wang's arms exploded. That seemingly invincible flaming giant's arm was actually shattered into pieces. Did this mean that the victor of the Heavenly Fate rankings was about to be decided? All along the way, in a situation where everyone thought it was impossible, he actually managed to turn the tides and stand at the peak of the Heavenly Fate rankings. Everyone felt their blood boiling. That dark horse was unstoppable. Was it the dark horse that had reached the pinnacle of the world? Chapter 391. Chen Wang's gigantic body retreated a step, one of his arms had actually been forcibly destroyed. Qin Wentian's entire body was engulfed in flames, yet his eyes shone with a bright light, as though he could still persist on. Strength, can you do it? Qin Wentian stared ahead as he stomped his foot forward, causing a thunderous sound to ring out. He still exuded the aura of an unexcelled king, looking down on all living beings. So what if he was facing the great Solar King? At the same cultivation level, his strength was invincible. Chen Wang stared fixedly at Qin Wentian. At the instant Qin Wentian's palm imprint blasted out, Chen Wang stomped on the ground as astral light erupted forth. His silhouette vanished from sight. This was none other than stellar transposition. Although he knew that Qin Wentian's perception was extremely terrifying, and could easily sense the trajectory of stellar transposition, he still didn't hesitate to use it. At that instant, the crowd saw Qin Wentian's silhouette turning around like a phantom, pointing his finger at the empty space. The heaven-breaking finger blasted out once again as a black hole appeared, capable of annihilating everything in its path. Over there, Chen Wang's left palm imprint slammed down from the heavens. The gigantic palm imprint wanted to crush everything into pieces, shattering everything into nothingness. The energy in the air exploded madly. Qin Wentian's left palm slammed out as numerous ancient bells transformed into a straight line, slamming into Chen Wang's flaming body. The sound of the bells lingered in the air. The crowd only saw the collision of their right hands, it was as though the heavens and earth were collapsing. Qin Wentian's left palm strike caused Chen Wang's body to tremble violently. Even though he had transformed into a magma giant and possessed the great solar Dharma body, he was still a human after all, he had a heart. The heartbreak bell, heartbreak. Each and every ancient bell directly slammed into Chen Wang's chest, causing his heart to throb madly and expand. Chen Wang could clearly feel his heart expanding, as though it was about to explode. Bang! Astral light flashed once more as stellar transposition was executed. Chen Wang's silhouette vanished once more, but Qin Wentian also moved. His wings fluttered as he shot towards the edge of the arena platform. The ancient bells in his palm struck out simultaneously, and the chimes of the ancient bells resonated with each other, transforming into an unending stream of sharp blades. Qi! Chen Wang spat out a mouthful of crimson flames, akin to lava. Stepping off the platform once more, his silhouette instantly left the platform. However, Qin Wentian didn't seem to be willing to spare him. He chased after him as the chimes of the ancient bell blasted out in a frenzy. This was decided by Chen Wang and the others. It was hard to say who would die in the Heavenly Fate ranking battle. Chen Wang let out a roar, and his body split into three again. Two lava giants rushed towards Qin Wentian. He himself had used the revolving star transposition once again, and the elemental energy in his body was almost depleted. Bang, bang, the two lava giants were smashed into smithereens, while Chen Wang's body finally landed on the ground. This also meant that he had been defeated in the ranking battle this time around. The number 1 ranker had left him. He was still number 2 on the Heavenly Fate ranking. Standing on the ground, Chen Wang inclined his head, only to see Qin Wentian staring down at him from the air. An intense feeling of humiliation permeated the air. He had been defeated by the person who had once looked down on him. Back in the Vermilion Bird Formation grounds, he had even hunted down Qin Wentian, unexcelled in the world. Yet now, he was defeated in a direct confrontation. How cruel was this blow? You, number one. Qin Wenqian's eyes flashed with disdain. The heavenly fate ranking battle hasn't ended yet you're already claiming to be number one and number two. Truly an eye-opener. As the sound of his voice faded, Qin Wenqian returned to the arena platform. He didn't continue to mock Chen Wang. All words couldn't be compared to his actions. Chen Wang had once claimed to be number one, as though he already stood at the peak of the heavenly fate ranking. Now that he was defeated by Qin Wenqian, it was no different from slapping his own face. If it was anyone else who obtained the second rank, it would be extremely glorious. But how would people evaluate Chen Wang? Hua Taishu didn't participate in the heavenly fate rankings this time around. Chen Wang's position was equivalent to the highest ranker on the heavenly fate rankings, and he had always been aiming for the number one position. But in the end, he was defeated by the person he once hunted down in the most tyrannical manner possible. To Chen Wang, this was a great humiliation. He didn't step into Heavenly Dipper because he wanted to participate in the Heavenly Fate ranking, yet he was still ranked number 2. Winner takes all. Chen Wang had been defeated. Everyone's gazes slowly shifted over, looking at the arena platform. Qin Wenqian, when he participated in the ranking battle, he was a nameless nobody with a cultivation base at the 7th level of Yuanfu. In the first round, he obtained the right to participate in the Heavenly Fate ranking battle. He had the most drumbeats, a record for this year's ranking battle. In the second round, Yang Fan, Duan Qingshan, and the rest obstructed his path in the life and death river, wanting to force him into the river. Yet instead, he killed Duan Qingshan, a ranker on the Heavenly Fate ranking. In the third round, he surpassed Chen Wang and Sherpatian, donning the platinum battle robe and obtaining the right to be the first to enter the Vermilion Bird formation. Because of this, he offended Chen Wang, and because of this, he forced Qin Wenqian to give up his right to be the first to enter, allowing him to enter first. Qin Wenqian didn't bother with him. For these 3 rounds, Qin Wenqian passed all of them, and his performance was extremely dazzling. But although he attracted the attention of the crowd, no one really thought highly of him. At the very most, they only felt that he had a chance of entering the Heavenly Fate ranking. After which, he stepped into the formation and obtained the Purgatory Vermilion Bird, starting his path of ascension. Step by step, he walked all the way to the peak. The gentle breeze fluttered his robes as the Purgatory Vermilion Bird hovered in the air above his head. This scene caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. This dark horse had truly walked all the way to the end. Nobody could have predicted that Qin Wenqian would be the top ranker of the Heavenly Fate rankings. In the air, Old Man Tianji stared at the arena platform. There was no longer a need to doubt the identity of the Demon Star. If he wanted to change the fate of Grand Xia, the only way was for the Demon Star to fall. However, since the Demon Star had already been born, it meant that his fate was already set in stone. It wouldn't be an easy task for him to fall. Today, Qin Wenqian would have to face a calamity. But as for the ending of this calamity, even he had no idea. The countenances of those from the Pill Emperor Hall were all extremely complicated. Luohi's eyes were as calm as ever, but waves of shock could be felt in her heart. If it wasn't for the fact that Mo Qingcheng was the chosen one, maybe her attitude would be different. The countenances of those from the Hua clan were ice cold. They wanted nothing more than to kill Qin Wenqian. Never would they have imagined that Qin Wenqian would be ranked first. Those from the Chen clan, Shi clan and Wang clan were all speechless. For the first time, the top ranker of the Heavenly Fate rankings was actually a nameless character. He didn't belong to any of the transcendent powers in Grand Xia. The Ouyang aristocrat clan had some thoughts in their minds. Ouyang Guangsheng and Qin Wenqian had an extraordinary relationship. If Qin Wenqian could grow up well, it wouldn't be too bad for the Ouyang aristocrat clan. Xu Wanyu, Xian Yan, Xian Xian and the rest were all speechless. Mo Qingcheng and Bai Qing only had light smiles on their faces. Chu Mang, Fan Luo and the rest all clenched their fists, feeling pride for him. Bailu Jing and Bailu Yi, as well as those from the White Deer Institute, all sighed with emotion. They were all anticipating Qin Wentian's extraordinary performance, but when Qin Wentian actually stood at the peak of the Heavenly Fate rankings, they couldn't help but feel a sense of surrealism. They didn't dare to believe it. Mustang's body was trembling from excitement. The muscles on his face twitched, but there was no way to conceal the smile on his face. Teacher, junior brother, he's already standing at the peak of Yuanfu in Grand Xia. This fellow is only 20 years of age, yet he's already accomplished things that many would never be able to achieve in their entire lives. Luo Huan's smile was radiant. She was truly moved. The Heavenly Fate rankings, the highest level of glory in Grand Xia. Tens of millions of geniuses were contending for it, and Qin Wentian had actually obtained the first rank. Mustang stared at Qin Wentian's silhouette as he spoke with pride. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that my disciple would be able to achieve such accomplishments that I didn't even dare to imagine. Master, it's still too early. This fellow is only 20 years old, and we don't know what he'll be like in the future. Don't be too agitated. Luo Huan smiled lightly, but her left hand was trembling slightly, betraying her emotions. She, too, was incomparably agitated. Ever since she came to Grand Xia, she was extremely familiar with the names of the transcendent powers. The Pill Emperor Hall, Hua Clan, Ouyang Clan, Great Solar Qin Clan, they were all so lofty and unreachable. Some of the heavens chosen among them were legendary characters, but so what? Now, all of them had been defeated by her junior brother. If the people of Chu knew that the Sky Harmony City's Qin Wentian had created such a miracle in Grand Xia, one could only imagine what they would think in their hearts. Engrave the rankings. Old man Tianji slowly spoke, causing the gazes of the crowd to shift in his direction. The Heavenly Fate rankings floated in the air as old man Tianji began to engrave the rankings. Because of Zhan Chen's death, the rankings at the bottom of the rankings were all pushed forward. As for the top 3 rankings, there were no changes. Number 3 on the Heavenly Fate rankings, Si Qiong. Number 2 on the Heavenly Fate rankings, Chen Wang. Number 1 on the Heavenly Fate rankings, Qin Wentian. When the 3 words Qin Wentian were engraved on the Heavenly Fate rankings, the spectators drew in a deep breath. They knew that from now on, Qin Wentian's name would become a symbol of Grand Xia, just like Hua Taishu, a symbol of a generation. His name would shake Grand Xia, he would become the idol of countless youths, a goal they would strive to achieve. From today onwards, there would be countless people talking about him, worshipping him, recounting his deeds, and digging out everything about him. He swept away all the heavens chosen on the Heavenly Fate rankings. He stood together with the number 1 beauty of the Moon continent, Mo Qingcheng, holding hands, resembling an immortal couple. Their story would surely become a legend. Not only that, there would be many rumors circulating, such as, Qin Wentian came to the Heavenly Fate rankings for the sake of Mo Qingcheng, disregarding everything, using an incomparably resolute will to obtain the first rank. Qin Wentian. At this moment, old man Tianji called out. Qin Wentian shifted his gaze onto him, only to hear old man Tianji slowly continuing, this time around, you've obtained the first rank on the Heavenly Fate rankings. This will be a precious experience for you on your path of cultivation. I hope that in the future, you will be able to persist in your heart and pursue even higher realms. Many thanks, Senior. Qin Wentian bowed slightly to old man Tianji. This was indeed a precious experience for him. It was the same for those who had participated in the Heavenly Fate rankings and were still alive. This time around, the ranking battle of the Heavenly Fate rankings in Grand Xia has come to an end. Your glory in the ancient kingdom will forever be engraved in this place. Old man Tianji stared at the silhouettes of the crowd as he announced. His words signified the end of this year's Heavenly Fate rankings. This year's Heavenly Fate rankings was the most fascinating ranking battle they had ever seen. It would forever be engraved in their memories, never to be forgotten. Chapter 392. Qin Wentian slowly turned, staring at the familiar silhouettes of the crowd. He glanced at his teacher Mustang and his senior sister Luo Huan, he glanced at Ouyang Guangsheng, Fan Lu and Chu Mang, he glanced at Mo Qingqing and Bai Qing as a faint smile appeared in his eyes. He had succeeded. How satisfying. A hearty voice rang out as Ouyang Guangsheng's silhouette soared up into the skies, landing on the arena platform. First ranker of the Heavenly Fate rankings, I've truly lost all face this time around. Chu Mang, Fan Lu, Mo Qingqing and the rest all stepped onto the arena platform. Now that the Heavenly Fate rankings had ended, those rules naturally no longer existed. Bailu Jing and Bailu Yi also stepped onto the arena platform. They stood at the side, staring at the celebratory crowd as Qin Wentian held Mo Qingqing's hand in his. Bailu Yi also smiled, her innocent countenance was exceptionally beautiful when she smiled. She sincerely wished Qin Wentian well. Boss, this battle was so satisfying. Looking at the sullen expressions on their faces, it's so satisfying. A smile could be seen on Fan Li's chubby face. Qin Wentian stared at the faces of the crowd, feeling a sense of gratitude in his heart. He knew that although he was the top ranker of the Heavenly Fate rankings, he had also offended too many people in the Heavenly Fate rankings. Not only that, these people were still willing to come all the way here to celebrate with him, standing together with him on the platform. They weren't here to bask in his glory, but rather, to tell him that they were standing together with him. Qin Wentian's heart was truly moved. These people were his life and death brothers, his friends. Little junior brother, your luck with women isn't bad at all. Luo Huan giggled as she stared at the beauties beside Qin Wentian. Mo Qingqing, Bai Qing and even Yun Mengyi were all here. Upon seeing the ambiguous look in Luo Huan's eyes, Qin Wentian couldn't help but roll his eyes. Luo Huan truly loved to joke around. Little rascal in her embrace transformed into a beam of white light and instantly scuttled into Qin Wentian's embrace. Tilting its head, it stared at the purgatory vermilion bird in the air, as though it was demonstrating its dominance. The purgatory vermilion bird let out a low cry and swooped down, wrapping its wings around Qin Wentian. Because of its huge body, Qin Wentian's entire body was wrapped up by the purgatory vermilion bird's wings, causing the people around to laugh. Did the two demonic beasts also know how to fight for favor? The spectators below all stared at the youthful silhouette standing on the platform, filled with boundless vitality. They all felt a warmth in their hearts, feeling extremely touched. Of course, they also understood the situation Qin Wentian was facing, but the feelings of these young people had already transcended that sense of crisis. They trusted each other and treated each other as family. The first thing they did was to celebrate Qin Wentian. It had been a very long time since they had seen such a touching scene. That tyrannical young man was cold and violent, merciless and merciless. Who would have thought that he would have such a warm side to him? There were so many friends who were willing to stand together with him in the future, no matter how difficult it would be. In the direction of the Mystic Maiden Palace, Xian Xian dashed over, only to be held back by Xian Yan. What are you doing? I'm going to congratulate him. Xian Xian turned her head back. Do you know what the current situation is? Xian Yan glared at Xian Xian. This lass was too rash. This time around, the person who obtained the top position in the Heavenly Fate rankings was Qin Wentian, not someone from the 7 transcendent powers. Such a situation had never happened before, not to mention that Qin Wentian had already offended so many people. Who knew what would happen next? I know, but he's Fan Li's brother. Isn't this what I should do? Xian Xian laughed. Xian Yan's hand loosened, and Xian Xian instantly slipped away, dashing towards the arena platform as well. This caused Xian Yan to be in a daze. She turned her gaze onto the platform and found the honest-looking young man, Chu Mang. Her heart was in a state of turmoil. Nonsense. A beautiful woman from the Mystic Maiden Palace couldn't help but be taken aback when she saw Xian Xian dashing up. After which, she berated, "Xian Xian, come back here." On the arena platform, Qin Wentian and the rest all heard this voice. Turning back, they saw Xian Xian standing at the edge of the platform. Her back was facing her master as she made a face at Qin Wentian. "Congratulations on obtaining the top position in the Heavenly Fate rankings. You are much more powerful than a certain someone." "That was an accident." Fatty Fan Lo smiled. He was naturally the person Xian Xian was referring to. "Yes, it was an accident." Xian Xian smiled mischievously. Qin Wentian glanced in the direction of the Mystic Maiden Palace as he spoke to Xian Xian, "Xian Xian, you should return first." With regards to Xian Xian's kind intentions, he understood and accepted them. It was truly a wonderful thing for Fan Lu to have such a pure and innocent girlfriend. "I know." Xian Xian glared at Qin Wentian, before reluctantly returning to the Mystic Maiden Palace. "Qingqing, you should come back as well." In the direction of the Pill Emperor Hall, Luo He stared at Mo Qingqing as she spoke. Mo Qingqing turned her gaze onto Luo He as she replied, "Master, you promised me." What she was referring to was that Luo He had personally promised that as long as Qin Wentian defeated Zhan Chen, she wouldn't interfere in the matters between her and Qin Wentian. "I've already promised you. Don't tell me I, your master, will go back on my words. Come here first, and follow me back later. If he wishes to woo my disciple, he can go to the Pill Emperor Hall himself." Luo He coldly stated, causing Mo Qingqing to hesitate. She naturally wanted to be together with Qin Wentian, but her master Luo He treated her very well. Luo He's words didn't seem to have any intentions of stopping her, she only wanted her to return first. "Qingqing, you should go back first." Qin Wentian walked up, holding on to Mo Qingqing's hands as he spoke in a low voice. If the Pill Emperor Hall wanted to stop him no matter what, there was nothing he could do. If he could ease the tension between them, he was willing to do so for the sake of Mo Qingqing. After all, Zhan Chen couldn't represent the Pill Emperor Hall. The hatred between him and Zhan Chen was one of life and death. Hence, he had no hesitation in killing Zhan Chen. Mo Qingqing inclined her head slightly, staring at Qin Wentian only to see Qin Wentian smiling at her as he spoke in a low voice, "Go." His current strength was still insufficient to shake the Pill Emperor Hall. For the sake of Qingqing, he was willing to take a step back. But if the Pill Emperor Hall went back on their words, he would definitely flatten the Pill Emperor Hall and bring Mo Qingqing away. Let's hope that things wouldn't come to that. After all, he didn't have any deep grudges with Mo Qingqing's master, Luo He. Mo Qingqing tightly held on to Qin Wentian's hands as she nodded her head, reluctantly releasing them. After which, her silhouette flickered as she returned to the direction of the Pill Emperor Hall. "Let's go." Luo He spoke. With a wave of her sleeves, she led those from the Pill Emperor Hall away. Mo Qingqing turned her head back and stared at Qin Wentian, her eyes filled with longing and reluctance. "After this matter is concluded, I will return to the Moon Continent." Qin Wentian smiled as he spoke in a clear voice. Mo Qingqing nodded her head lightly, her eyes filled with tears. They had only been together for a short period of time, and now they had to separate again. Qin Wentian felt extremely uncomfortable in his heart. He hated himself for not having enough strength. If he was the top ranker in the Heavenly Dipper rankings, what could these people from the Pill Emperor Hall do to him? How could they take away a woman from his side? But now, it was also good that Mo Qingqing left. After all, he himself didn't know what would happen next. It's also good that she left. In this place, your hands and feet would be tied. Don't underestimate these transcendent powers too much. I'm afraid things won't go smoothly between you and her. Yunmengyi walked to the side of Qin Wentian as she spoke in a low voice. I'm afraid the Pill Emperor Hall thinks that you won't be able to live past today. Qin Wentian's countenance stiffened. Yunmengyi's words contained hints of maturity. Currently, other than giving Qin Wentian a sense of mystery, there was also a sense of calmness and maturity. It was as though nothing in the world would be able to affect her state of heart. The heavenly fate rankings have concluded. Everyone, please disperse. The ancient kingdom of Grand Xia shall be closed. Only those who manage to enter the heavenly fate rankings can remain here and pay their respects to the ancient kingdom. At this moment, a clear voice drifted down from the heavens, resounding throughout the entire space. It was unknown who the speaker was. This scene caused the hearts of Qin Wentian and the rest to tremble. Most probably, this was the voice of Si Qiong's faction. These people were eyeing the secret art within the vermilion bird formation like a tiger eyeing its prey. I participated in the ranking battle of the heavenly fate rankings and obtained the ancient luck of Grand Xia. Now that I've succeeded, I shall no longer pay any attention to the ancient kingdom. A person calmly spoke. The person who spoke was none other than Qin Zheng. He could also sense that these people had ill intentions. If they stayed behind, wouldn't they be slaughtered by others? This is the tradition of Grand Xia, how can we abandon it? The voice in the air continued, containing traces of coldness and tyranny. I believe we should have the freedom to do so. Qin Zheng faintly spoke. Obtaining the ancient luck of Grand Xia yet refusing to pay respects to our ancient kingdom. What are your intentions? The ice-cold voice contained a powerful might within. That person from the Chen clan spoke, this is the tradition of the ancient kingdom, we cannot abandon it. The countenances of Qin Wentian and the rest froze. Before this, these people wanted to exchange their secret arts but they didn't agree. Now, they wanted to force them to stay behind. This is the tradition of Grand Xia. That person from the Hua clan spoke. We cannot abandon it. That person from the Wang clan stated, all of them harboring unfathomable intentions. They, the 7 great clans of Grand Xia, most probably had a connection with the power that Si Qiong was from. In fact, Qin Wentian guessed that the destruction of Grand Xia back then had something to do with them. After all, the true records of that period of history had already been erased. If you all dare to disrespect the ancient kingdom, spit out the ancient luck you obtained and cripple it. The ice-cold voice drifted down from the heavens. It wouldn't stop until it achieved its goal. Are you all really from the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia? Why are you hiding your heads but showing your tails? Qin Wentian inclined his head, his eyes gleaming with sharpness. As the sound of his voice faded, a group of silhouettes soared up into the skies from the depths of the royal palace, instantly descending upon this space. This group of people were all extraordinary. Just by casually standing in the air, they gave off a terrifying feeling. Their auras weren't any weaker compared to those from the various transcendent powers. Only to see that their gazes were sharp as they stared at the arena platform. Which power do you belong to? The person in the lead was a middle-aged man clad in golden robes, exuding an extraordinary aura. He stared at Qin Wentian as he coldly asked. I don't belong to any transcendent power. Qin Wentian replied. Fine, since you obtained the ancient luck of Grand Xia, it can also be considered fate. I shall bestow you a chance. Join us and we will definitely help you grow. How about it? The golden-robed middle-aged man had a heart filled with love for talent. He stared at the crowd as he continued, those who obtained ancient luck are all fated. I shall bestow you all with good fortune. Although this person sent out an invitation out of love for talent, his words were filled with arrogance. Bestowing good fortune to everyone caused a strange feeling to appear in the hearts of the crowd. This wasn't like what the rumor said, that the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia was only left with a weak and feeble branch. These people in front of them had strength comparable to the strongest transcendent powers. Chapter 393 Old Man Tianji and the other transcendent powers didn't interfere, it was as though this matter had nothing to do with them. This caused the spectators to silently speculate, what were the identities of these people exactly? The destruction of the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia, what kind of unknown story was hidden within? Most probably, what they knew were only half-truths. It was rumored that a few thousand years ago, the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia was so powerful that even the combined forces of the 36 transcendent powers couldn't be compared to the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia. After that, a terrifying war occurred, causing the heavens to crumble and the earth to split apart. Only after that did the 9 transcendent powers establish a foothold in the 9 continents. There was no way to verify any of this. The eyes of Qin Wentian and the rest flickered. These people should have a close relationship with the various transcendent powers. Chen Wang and the rest had already agreed to the exchange, and when Luo He brought Mo Qingqing away, they also didn't obstruct her. Mo Qingqing was also one of those who had obtained ancient luck. Qin Wentian, Qin Zheng, Mu Feng and Yun Mengyi. The 4 of them had obtained ancient luck, and most probably had secret arts that they knew. Not only that, they didn't trade with the other party. The 4 of them were naturally the targets of these people. At this moment, Qin Zheng and Mu Feng's eyes were filled with coldness. Although the other party had sent out an invitation, they weren't willing to accept it. With their talent and determination, it wasn't difficult for them to join a transcendent power. However, they had to follow their hearts before they could cultivate in peace. Naturally, the transcendent powers they were in love with must belong to. And now, although the other party had sent them an invitation, they were too domineering. They naturally didn't like it. Not only that, even if they joined them, wouldn't they be trampled upon by others? Who knew what would happen in the future? These people had the ability to search souls, what if they wanted to search their memories? Such humiliation, they had no way to endure it. Hence, they naturally weren't willing. However, the origins of these people seemed to be extremely terrifying. Even Old Man Tianji, who was in charge of the heavenly fate rankings, fell silent. Qin Wentian and Yun Mengyi also had the same thoughts. Such an invitation, how could they accept it? The purgatory vermilion bird hovered in the air above Qin Wentian's head, letting out an enraged screech at the silhouettes in the air. It was as though the purgatory vermilion bird could sense everything happening here, and knew that these people had ill intentions. Evil creature. The golden-robed man waved his hand, and a resplendent beam of light shot out. The purgatory vermilion bird silhouette flickered, but with a piercing sound, the purgatory vermilion bird let out a miserable shriek as a certain part of its body was pierced through, causing fresh blood to flow out. It flapped its wings with all its might, and its eyes revealed a fierce light, as if it was unyielding. A cold light flashed in Qin Wentian's eyes as he floated into the air. Looking at the purgatory vermilion bird's bleeding wings, he stretched out his hand and gently stroked it. The purgatory vermilion bird let out a low cry and gently embraced Qin Wentian's body with its wings. There was a look of reluctance in its eyes, as if it wanted to say goodbye. This gaze caused Qin Wentian's heart to tremble. Inclining his head, his eyes flashed with anger. "Sir, you are a senior, and since you claim to be someone from the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia, why do you treat this vermilion bird in such a manner? We are the lords of the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia. Just a mere spirit formed from ancient luck, how dare you be so impudent? How can we not punish you?" The golden-robed man's voice was filled with arrogance, as though he was warning Qin Wentian and the others. Now that they were in control of everything, if they wanted to retaliate, they would have to be prepared to suffer the same fate as the purgatory vermilion bird. Qin Wentian naturally understood the meaning behind the words. His gaze grew even colder, yet the purgatory vermilion bird gently caressed him with its wings as it let out a low cry. Its eyes were filled with longing as it stared at Qin Wentian, filled with reluctance. It was a spirit body, and was born because of Qin Wentian. And now, it would die because of Qin Wentian. It had no regrets, this was its destiny. It's offering a sacrifice, summoning the spirit of the vermilion bird formation. Yunmengyi softly spoke, her voice directly entering Qin Wenqian's eardrums. The others couldn't hear it. Stop. Qin Wenqian turned his gaze onto the purgatory vermilion bird. Momentarily, the purgatory vermilion bird also turned its gaze onto him, its eyes filled with reluctance yet determination. I won't allow you to do this. Qin Wenqian's heart was resolute, the purgatory vermilion bird seemed to be able to sense it. It let out a low cry of helplessness as it arched its body towards Qin Wenqian, as though it was filled with an intense longing for Qin Wenqian. Qin Wenqian turned his gaze onto Yunmengyi. Yunmengyi seemed to have understood Qin Wenqian's intentions. She transmitted her voice over, "You can summon the divine steel." The divine steel also contains the power of an ancient will, and can be used to attack. However, I have no idea how much power the ancient will has left, and if you summon the divine steel, you would definitely offend many of the transcendent powers. There were still 5 pieces of the divine steel that were controlled by the 5 transcendent powers. If Qin Wenqian summoned it in front of everyone, how could he not offend them? Not only that, once the complete divine steel appeared, it wouldn't just be an offense. How could those transcendent powers not fight over it? Qin Wenqian slowly turned his gaze onto the purgatory vermilion bird, as a sharp glint of light flashed in his eyes. How could he watch on as his comrade sacrificed himself? The purgatory vermilion bird could sense the thoughts in Qin Wenqian's heart. Do you know that summoning the spirit of the vermilion bird formation and activating the grand reactivation formation is extremely beneficial to you? Yunmengyi spoke again, but Qin Wenqian's heart didn't waver. To me, you are not a spirit, but a life form. You are my comrade. Qin Wenqian stared at the purgatory vermilion bird as he gently stroked its wings. I won't allow you to sacrifice yourself. His gaze was incomparably resolute. Inclining his head, he stared at the golden-robed middle-aged man as he stated, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Qin Wenqian's voice rang out, causing the countenances of the crowd to freeze. This Qin Wenqian was truly audacious. Senior, are you really someone from the ancient kingdom? How can I prove it? Qin Wenqian faintly asked. Do I need to prove it? The golden-robed middle-aged man coldly replied. What if I can prove it? Qin Wenqian stared at the golden-robed middle-aged man, causing his gaze to turn sharp as a wave of pressure bore down on him. It was as though he was gradually losing his patience. How can you prove it? Abruptly, a voice drifted over. Qin Wenqian discovered that the owner of this voice was none other than Old Man Tianji. The golden-robed middle-aged man turned his gaze onto Old Man Tianji, his eyes gleaming with sharpness. Old Man Tianji was also looking at the golden-robed middle-aged man. What do you think? That golden-robed middle-aged man fell silent for a moment before he turned to Qin Wenqian and coldly laughed. I'll give you a chance to prove yourself. This place was the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia, it wasn't his territory. Old Man Tianji's strength was unfathomable, he would give him face. Qin Wenqian stared at Old Man Tianji with gratitude in his eyes. He didn't expect that Old Man Tianji would actually speak out to help him. This was truly unexpected. Turning his gaze back to the skies, Qin Wenqian's countenance was filled with determination. With an intention of his will, 4 heavenly steels appeared before him. The 3 heavenly steels from the ancient steel path, as well as the Yellow Springs monument. All 4 of them were part of the divine steel. The 4 heavenly steels floated in the air, causing the expressions of the crowd to freeze. This is, the golden-robed middle-aged man froze as he stared in bewilderment at the 4 heavenly steels. The divine steel. Old Man Tianji's eyes gleamed with sharpness as he stared at Qin Wenqian. This young man had actually obtained 4 divine steels. Only to see Qin Wenqian's lips trembling as he chanted an incantation. This incantation transformed into a formless energy that was infused into the heavenly steels. Instantly, the 4 heavenly steels began to hum unceasingly as they trembled violently, emitting terrifying whistling sounds. An intense ancient will gushed forth from the heavenly steels. Bzzz. A resplendent light shot up into the skies, as the ancient will swept past the heavens and earth, penetrating through the void. What a powerful ancient will! The hearts of the crowd trembled. And at this moment, in the venerate heavens sect of Ginku, a heavenly steel suddenly trembled violently, emitting an intense humming sound as though the ancient will had awakened, summoning it. Boom! A deafening sound echoed out as the heavenly steel soared up into the skies, directly breaking out of the great hall. With a speed so fast that the naked eye couldn't detect it, it sped towards a certain direction. What's that? Those from the venerate heavens sect all inclined their heads, staring at a beam of light in the skies. They couldn't even see what it was, yet it had already flown away. It was too fast, so fast that it caused their hearts to tremble. Similar scenes occurred in the great solar Qin clan and Shi clan. Among them, a heavenly steel soared through the skies, transforming into a beam of light. Not only that, in the Moon continent, the Pil Emperor Hall and the Hua clan, a heavenly steel soared through the skies as well. They only saw a beam of light shooting up into the skies. In the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia, countless people stared at the heavenly steel floating above Qin Wentian. The eyes of the golden-robed middle-aged man gleamed with a terrifying light. He didn't stop Qin Wentian. This was the awakening of the ancient will of the divine steel. Truly a gift bestowed by the heavens. The eyes of the golden-robed middle-aged man gleamed with sharpness. If the divine steel appeared again, he would take it away with him. Bzzz, bzzz, bzzz. 3 beams of light arrived almost instantaneously, directly fusing together with the 4 heavenly steels. A sharp whistling sound rang out in the air, terrifying to the extreme, as the ancient will of the heavens and earth permeated the air. That's the heavenly steel from the venerate heavens sect. They're fusing together. Old man Tianji exclaimed in shock. Indeed, they were fusing together. Was this really the will of the heavens? Not too long after, another 2 beams of light flew over, instantly landing on the fused heavenly steel. An incomparably dazzling light radiated forth, causing the entire arena platform to tremble. How fast! Although those from the transcendent powers knew what was going to happen, they were all stunned by the speed at which the heavenly steels arrived. The fate of the constellations of Grand Xia is indeed fusing together. The divine steel is fusing together first. In the future, this young man will definitely influence the entire Grand Xia. The last shred of doubt in old man Tianji's heart vanished without a trace. Without a doubt, Qin Wentian was that demonic star. He was the one who caused the 9 heavenly steel fragments to fuse together and reform. Back then, when the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia was destroyed, the divine steel was split into 9 pieces. Today, it was fusing together. Wasn't this a kind of omen, a sign of the will of the heavens? Qin Wentian only felt a terrifying ancient will emanating from the divine steel floating in the air, exuding an immense pressure that made it hard for them to breathe. The 9 shattered pieces of the divine steel glowed with a bright light as they gradually merged back together. The divine steel had reappeared in Grand Xia. Chapter 394. Bang! A thunderous sound rang out as the divine steel slammed into the ground. Brilliant light circulated around it, as though it could split the divine steel into 9 different parts. Each of the 9 divine steel glowed with a different light, and the ancient will within each one was different as well. Since Senior is someone from the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia, why is the divine steel in my hands? Could it be that Senior doesn't know the chant to summon the divine steel? Qin Wentian inclined his head, staring at the golden-robed middle-aged man in the air as he coldly spoke. However, the golden-robed middle-aged man merely laughed coldly as he took a step forward. Instantly, Qin Wentian groaned in agony as though that foot had directly stomped on his heart. Boom! In the air, the golden-robed middle-aged man took another step forward. Not only Qin Wentian, but everyone else on the arena platform all coughed out mouthfuls of blood as their countenances paled. The disparity in their strength was too great, they weren't even on the same level. "How dare you steal my divine steel?" The golden-robed middle-aged man coldly spoke. With a grab, a gigantic astral palm imprint manifested, directly grabbing towards the divine steel. The divine steel shone with astral light, blinding the eyes of the spectators. Abruptly, the divine steel vanished from sight, reappearing in front of the golden-robed middle-aged man as a beam of sword light slashed down from the skies. That beam of sword light directly traversed the heavens and earth, exuding an incomparably terrifying might. Stellar transposition, heavenly swordplay. The spectators all had looks of shock on their faces. The divine steel was actually able to unleash the ultimate arts of Grand Xia. A drop of fresh blood appeared on the divine steel. The divine steel wept tears of blood, exuding an overwhelming might that could destroy the heavens and earth. The golden-robed middle-aged man froze, his countenance incomparably sharp as he coldly spoke, "The ancient will from thousands of years ago still hasn't been extinguished. Do you still want to overturn the heavens?" After speaking, the golden-robed middle-aged man blasted out with a palm strike, as though a paragon of the great sun had appeared. Puchi. The sword sliced through the air as the palm imprint shattered. The golden-robed middle-aged man retreated, only to see the divine steel emitting a shrill howl as a blood-red palm imprint shot forth from all directions. The countenances of the experts from the divine steel drastically changed as they hurriedly retreated, unleashing a terrifying aura. The blood-colored ancient imprint descended from the sky, and it was as if drops of blood were dripping onto some people's bodies. Some people couldn't dodge in time and were struck by the blood imprint. In an instant, their flesh and blood were corroded at a terrifying speed. In a short moment, the blood imprint streaked past their bones, and their vitality was gone. The tyrannical power caused people's hearts to tremble. Blood Curse Seal, one of the 9 great supreme skills. What a powerful ancient will. The ancient will of the divine steel seems to contain a torrential resentment. The spectators felt their hearts pounding violently. However, there were also quite a few tyrannical experts among them. They took out their divine weapons, and abruptly, a gigantic ancient steel appeared in the air. Boundless scriptures gushed forth from the ancient steel, transforming into a terrifying sealing energy that wanted to seal the divine steel within. The divine steel frenziedly shuddered as lightning flashed in the air. A thunder god descended from the heavens, instantly cleaving one of the experts into 2. The divine steel then shot towards the opening. The golden-robed middle-aged man howled in rage. Abruptly, a gigantic sword materialized in his body, circulating with boundless astral light. Bzzz. The gigantic sword stood tall in the air, guarding the opening. The divine steel was unable to escape, and it could only continue its frenzied attacks. "Capture them, I want them alive." The golden-robed middle-aged man coldly commanded. As he dealt with the divine steel, he swept his gaze onto the experts from the other powers in the corridor. Old man Tianji furrowed his brows, only to see the experts from the great Solar Qin clan stepping out. "He's the top ranker of the Heavenly Fate rankings, it doesn't seem appropriate for all of you to act now." Old man Tianji slowly spoke, as though intending to stop them. "Senior is too polite. Although this brat is the top ranker of the Heavenly Fate rankings, his character isn't good. He even stole the divine steel of my great Solar Qin clan. With such a personality, we should capture him and interrogate him properly." An expert from the great Solar Qin clan spoke. After which, he turned his gaze onto the others. "What do you all think? My Hua clan's divine steel was also stolen, we will naturally interrogate him." An expert from the Hua clan coldly spoke, as he stepped out, expressing his stance. "After this matter is concluded, I can return the steel to all of you." Qin Wentian stared at the experts in the corridor, his countenance gleaming with a cold light. Since you've chosen to be a thief, there's no turning back. Your personality will only bring disaster to Grand Xia, you should be eliminated as soon as possible. A cold voice drifted into Qin Wentian's ears. The person who spoke was none other than someone from the Wang clan. Qin Wentian's talent was outstanding, and he had offended too many people. All of them already had their own plans in their hearts, and even if the golden-robed middle-aged man wasn't present, they would still act against Qin Wentian in secret. Now that they had an excuse to act, how could they allow Qin Wentian to leave the ancient kingdom unscathed? Leaving aside Qin Wentian, Mu Feng, Qin Zheng and the rest were all characters ranked at the top of the heavenly fate rankings. In the future, if they could hand them over to the golden-robed middle-aged man, they would definitely search their souls before killing them. What a bunch of experts from Grand Xia, it seems like you can't bear to see someone else obtaining the top ranker of the heavenly fate rankings. Ouyang Guangxing coldly laughed. Qin Wentian stealing their steel was merely an excuse. Seems like the power of the ancient will is already extremely weak. Yun Mingyi stared at the divine steel, feeling a sense of loss. The divine steel of Grand Xia was actually obstructed by a bunch of heavenly dipper sovereigns. Qin Wentian's eyes flickered as he spoke, all of you leave. This matter had arisen because of him. These people were all targeting him. Since we're already standing here, we have no plans to leave. Ouyang Guangxing swept his gaze over to the Ouyang aristocrat clan. Guangxing, come back. Ouyang Guangxing's uncle called out, only to see Ouyang Guangxing lightly shaking his head. His uncle then turned to the others, everyone, please don't harm my nephew. My disciple is there as well, Bai Qing's master from the Mystic Moon sect stated. At this moment, those who wanted to deal with Qin Wentian were all from the 7 great clans. They had no way to stop them. After all, it was impossible for them to start a war against the 7 great clans for the sake of a junior. Bai Lu Yi, leave. Qin Wentian didn't want to implicate the others. He glanced at Bai Lu Jing and Bai Lu Yi, only to see Bai Lu Jing and Bai Lu Yi shaking her head. Who? Qin Wentian's heart trembled. His eyes flickered with a terrifying coldness as he stared at the approaching silhouettes. If I leave, all of you leave immediately. Qin Wentian spoke to the crowd. After which, a demonic light flickered in his eyes. He walked out, facing the crowd as he let out a low roar. Instantly, this low roar resonated with the heavens and earth as a surge of energy descended from the heavens. Rumble, the entire space suddenly trembled as demonic chi howled in rage, gushing towards Qin Wentian. A fearsome demonic wind ravaged the entire space, ravaging everything in its path. Roar of the demonic divinity, ancient will transcending the heavens. A fearsome demonic light flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes. He inclined his head and stared at the heavens, his will connecting the heavens and earth. Demonic chi from all 8 directions converged towards him, causing the spectators to shiver uncontrollably. What kind of power was this? What's going on? On the arena platform, a terrifying demonic wind gusted forth, causing the robes of Ouyang Guangxing and the rest to flutter in the wind. Their eyes couldn't even open as they stared at Qin Wentian. How could this be? What kind of power was Qin Wentian using? A long cry rang out as the heavens and earth trembled. The silhouette of a terrifying vermilion bird appeared on the arena platform, incomparably resplendent. The entire space seemed to have transformed into a world of purgatory. This, inclining their heads, the spectators saw the purgatory vermilion bird floating in the air. Its body was actually ablaze, and an incomparably gigantic silhouette of a vermilion bird appeared in the air, causing the entire space to tremble violently. Do it! The spectators instantly transformed into streaks of light as they rushed towards Qin Wentian and the rest. However, a terrifying cry rang out as the gigantic vermilion bird formation spirit reappeared once again, staring down at the crowd with disdain. Bang! A terrifying hurricane slammed into Qin Wentian, causing him to groan in misery as he was flung through the air. The demonic divinity sacrificial transformation art was interrupted. Inclining his head, he stared at the purgatory vermilion bird in the air. I can transform into a demon, why must you do this? You don't wish to become a demon. A voice rang out in the depths of Qin Wentian's heart. At this moment, he could actually hear the purgatory vermilion bird's voice. Qin Wentian saw tears in the eyes of the purgatory vermilion bird, filled with unwillingness. It was no longer an astral body, it was a living being. A terrifying palm imprint slashed out, directly aiming for Qin Wentian. The purgatory vermilion bird silhouette flickered, directly appearing in front of Qin Wentian. With a thunderous boom, the purgatory vermilion bird was forced back as it coughed out fresh blood. However, its body was still burning as the purgatory vermilion bird grew larger and larger. You're courting death. The palm imprint of the Chen clan's expert seemed to contain the might of the great sun as it bore down from the heavens. Terrifying rumbling sounds filled the air as it bore down on Qin Wentian. The purgatory vermilion bird howled in rage as it rushed out. Rumble, the illusory body of the purgatory vermilion bird felt as though it was on the verge of collapse. However, it had no fear at all. With a mournful wail, the purgatory vermilion bird turned its head and cast a deep glance at Qin Wentian, as though it was filled with love and longing. A bright light flashed as the purgatory vermilion bird transformed into a beam of light, directly shooting into the skies, merging with the vermilion bird's spirit. In an instant, boundless astral light flashed as the entire sky transformed into a dimension of purgatory. The purgatory constellation appeared as terrifying purgatory flames roared in the air. This entire space was plunged into darkness. What's going on? At this instant, everyone inclined their heads and stared at the skies. Over there, a gigantic vermilion bird's spirit opened its eyes, blotting out the sun. The entire space trembled violently as this place was once again transformed into an ancient formation. Purgatory. Qin Wentian stared at the skies as his heart trembled. Staring at the gigantic vermilion bird, there was only sorrow in his heart. He didn't even treat the purgatory vermilion bird as a spiritual body, but as a companion instead. That final glance it cast at him caused his heart to shatter. Because he didn't want to become a demon, the purgatory vermilion bird chose to sacrifice itself. At this moment, the gigantic vermilion bird swept its gaze over the arena platform, its cold eyes devoid of any emotions. Streams of purgatory flames descended from the skies, shooting towards the expert from the Chen clan. That expert's silhouette flickered as he fled for his life, only to see the boundless purgatory flames enveloping him as they transformed into a purgatory lotus. A miserable scream rang out as that powerful heavenly dipper sovereign from the great solar Chen clan was turned into dust by the purgatory lotus. Chapter 395. Purgatory. At this moment, this entire space had transformed into a true purgatory dimension. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at the gigantic vermilion bird, summoning the purgatory constellation. This was the symbol of a celestial phenomenon ascendant. Within the constellation, the purgatory constellation was akin to hell on earth. Are you still there? Qin Wentian's body slowly soared up into the air. Traces of blood could be seen at the corners of his mouth as he soared through the air. In this space, screams of agony rang out as people were incinerated into ashes by the purgatory flames. The spectators from afar all had expressions of terror on their faces. They had never imagined that such a terrifying situation would occur. Under the might of this constellation, the legs of many turned soft, and they didn't even have the courage to flee. Even if they tried to flee, the vermilion bird would be able to annihilate them with a single thought. Wentian Gij. Bai Qing had an expression of worry on her face when she saw Qin Wentian soaring up into the air. Was this purgatory vermilion bird still the same purgatory vermilion bird? Qin Wentian actually appeared beside the gigantic face of the vermilion bird. As long as the vermilion bird willed it, he would definitely die. Qin Wentian stretched out his hands, slowly moving towards the face of the vermilion bird. The eyes of the vermilion bird were ice-cold as it stared at him, causing the spectators on the platform to feel a sense of nervousness in their hearts. Their palms were instantly drenched in sweat. "I don't believe that you will vanish just like that." Qin Wentian stared into the eyes of the vermilion bird as he placed his hands on the face of the purgatory vermilion bird, gently caressing it. Bzzz. A raging wind gusted by as the vermilion bird let out a shrill cry. The purgatory flames crazily descended from the skies. The vermilion bird seemed to be extremely violent as it stared at Qin Wentian. "Wentian, come back." The countenances of Fan Lu and the rest stiffened, all of them were incomparably nervous. This fellow was too impulsive. Qin Wentian acted as though he hadn't heard anything. His eyes were filled with determination as he stared at the vermilion bird. Gradually, the eyes of the vermilion bird glowed with a hint of warmth. After that, the vermilion bird stretched out its gigantic head and leaned on Qin Wentian's palm, allowing Qin Wentian's palm to caress it. Upon seeing this scene, the spectators on the arena platform finally heaved a sigh of relief. Their robes were drenched in cold sweat, and it was evident that they had been badly frightened. Qin Wentian was too impulsive. "I know you're still here. Although you're a formation spirit, I'll definitely find a way to take you away," Qin Wentian said softly. He hated himself a little. If it weren't for the fact that he wasn't strong enough, he wouldn't have needed to rely on the purgatory vermilion bird to help him out of danger. The spirit of the vermilion bird matrix let out a low cry and glanced at the void. Qin Wentian also looked at those figures and said coldly, "Those who attacked us just now, kill them." "Qin Wentian, you dare." A thunderous voice thundered out, filled with a terrifying killing intent. "Kill us all, do you still think there's a path of survival for you in Grand Xia?" The threat in their voices rang out unceasingly, but as the sound of their voices faded, the purgatory astral light shone on that person. Instantly, that person screamed in agony as he vanished into the flames of purgatory. Qin Wentian turned around, his eyes filled with an incomparably intense killing intent. "Regardless of whether I can survive or not, at the very least, all of you will have to die." Qin Wentian's voice was ice-cold. These people already had killing intent towards him, they didn't want him to leave the ancient kingdom alive. His personality was decisive, and he showed no mercy to his enemies. Since he wanted to become his enemy, he would sever all thoughts of revenge. Those experts all fled for their lives, yet the spirit of the vermilion bird matrix was still staring at those who acted against Qin Wentian. The Qin clan, Hua clan and Wang clan suffered the most casualties, with people dying one after another. The countenance of the golden-robed middle-aged man was incredibly unsightly to behold. The purgatory flames continued to rain down on them, and many of them died as well. At this moment, he took out an ancient scroll that contained boundless spatial energy. It was a supreme treasure for him to use for escaping. With a wave of his hand, the ancient scroll shone with a terrifying light as the spatial energy enveloped all of them. When the purgatory flames gushed over, the ancient scroll abruptly burst forth with an intense spatial light, causing all of those experts to vanish from sight. In the air, the ancient scroll was set ablaze. Such a supreme treasure could only be used once. Many experts from the major powers fled madly for their lives. Those spectators also didn't dare to stay here any longer, and all of them fled as well. The entire space transformed into a scene of purgatory on Earth, with experts dying unceasingly. At this moment, on the ground below, a figure wanted to flee. However, Qin Wentian abruptly turned around, staring at that person as he coldly spoke, "Di Feng, stay behind." That person's face wasn't that of Emperor Azure. Instead, it was that of a pale-faced young man, looking extremely ordinary and unremarkable. That person turned his head and stared at Qin Wentian. "Sir, are you talking to me? If you directly left, I might not have obstructed you. But since you were afraid that I would kill you, you actually changed your face in the midst of the chaos. In that case, you will die today for sure. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness. Earlier, when the purgatory flames enveloped the entire space, Di Feng actually changed his face and wanted to sneak away. If it wasn't for Qin Wentian's terrifying perception, he definitely wouldn't have noticed Di Feng. Who would have thought that Di Feng's cleverness had led him astray? Since you can change your appearance, there's no doubt that you were the one who impersonated me to deal with Mu Feng back then. Qin Wentian's countenance was ice cold, as an intense killing intent flickered in his eyes. Di Feng wanted to feign ignorance, but Qin Wentian ignored him. You said it was him? Not far away, Mu Feng's eyes flickered with a cold light as he stared at Di Feng. We've only met once and you already want me dead so badly. To think that you would use such a method to borrow Mu Feng's hand to kill me? Qin Wentian stepped out as his aura gushed forth, causing a terrifying coldness to envelop the Emperor's wind. Di Feng knew that Qin Wentian had already recognized him, and there was no point in pretending anymore. His countenance turned ashen as he used a secret art to change his appearance. Moments later, his countenance contorted and contorted, revealing that he was none other than Di Feng. Although we have a grudge between us, we are still of the same bloodline. Since you've proven yourself in the heavenly fate rankings, I'll naturally assist you in accomplishing great things. Di Feng slowly spoke, neither servile nor overbearing. One couldn't help but admit that this person's schemes were extremely deep and terrifying. However, the killing intent in Qin Wentian's eyes didn't diminish in the slightest. He coldly stated, "You are not worthy." Di Feng's countenance turned unsightly as he stated, "If you kill me, you will definitely form a grudge with my bloodline. If that's the case, I'll clean up the clan myself." Qin Wentian's countenance was as sharp as ever, causing Di Feng's countenance to turn even darker. Beside him, Mu Feng walked over, the poison qi radiating from him terrifying to the extreme. Di Feng retreated as he stared at Mu Feng. "I don't know what you two are talking about, and when did I form a grudge with you? If I wanted to kill Qin Wentian, I would have done it myself. Why would I need to borrow your hand?" Even now, Di Feng still refused to admit it. A raging wind gusted by, Qin Wentian's silhouette vanished from his original location, appearing in front of Di Feng in an instant. With a palm strike, the dragon imprint blasted out with lightning speed. Di Feng hurriedly lifted his palms to defend, only to be flung through the air with a thunderous boom. Qin Wentian's silhouette was like a bolt of lightning, chasing after Di Feng. The heartbreak ancient bell blasted out in a frenzy, causing Di Feng's heart to palpitate. He felt as though his heart was about to explode as he coughed out fresh blood. It was impossible for him to withstand the full force of Qin Wentian's attack. Mu Feng's poison palm imprint slammed into Di Feng's chest. Instantly, a terrifying poison qi gushed into Di Feng's body. Di Feng's countenance turned black as he stared at Qin Wentian with a venomous look on his face. "Your little sister tastes pretty good." Di Feng stared at Mu Feng as he laughed evilly. His words caused Mu Feng's countenance to turn pale. He sliced open his finger, and a black streak of light landed on Di Feng's body. In an instant, Di Feng's body actually began to shrivel up as his blood transformed into black qi. Arg! Di Feng screamed miserably as his blood was corroded bit by bit. In the end, his entire body shriveled up, turning into a pile of bones. Mu Feng's eyes were bloodshot as he continued to stare at the gigantic skeleton. Qin Wentian glanced at the interspatial ring beside Di Feng. With a wave of his hand, the interspatial ring flew into his palm. This Di Feng was a descendant of the Di clan. Qin Wentian didn't know if there were any useful treasures in his interspatial ring. Mu Feng turned his head, staring at Qin Wentian as he spoke. "I misunderstood you in the past, and now you've saved me once again. Not only that, you've helped me find my enemy. From now on, I will follow you until the transcendent powers of Grand Xia are no longer a threat to you. I will only leave then. A strange expression appeared on Qin Wenqian's face as he stared at Mu Feng. You don't have to do this. I know my current strength is useless against those transcendent powers. But in the future, you will have to look for me, Mu Feng calmly replied as he turned around, walking towards the direction of the Vermilion Bird Arena platform. Although Mu Feng's temperament had undergone a drastic change, he was still filled with confidence in his own future. And because of today's promise, in the future, the new Poison King, Mu Feng, would become the most terrifying character by Qin Wenqian's side. Qin Wenqian turned his head to look at Mu Feng, but didn't say anything. Today's matter, he did it for himself, it had nothing to do with Mu Feng. But since Mu Feng was insistent on it, he wouldn't change his mind just because of his words. At this moment, in the vast space, there weren't many people left. There were those who had died, and those who had fled. A terrifying energy frenziedly permeated the area, enveloping the entire royal palace. This was the Purgatory Grand Formation, and from now on, it had become a forbidden ground. Qin Wenqian returned to the Vermilion Bird Arena platform. Staring at the group of silhouettes, a bitter smile appeared on his face as he spoke. Now, even if I wanted to leave, it would be too difficult. The spirit of the Vermilion Bird Formation had slaughtered so many people in the Ginka continent. Those transcendent powers would soon arrive and surround the royal palace. Stretching out his hands, a raging wind gusted as the divine steel flew back to him. Qin Wenqian's will entered the divine steel, and in an instant, he sensed the innate techniques within. An instant later, Qin Wenqian sensed the 9 ultimate arts. Turning his head, a smile appeared on his face as he stared at the crowd. Come and choose the ultimate arts of Grand Xia that are most suitable for you all. The countenances of the crowd stiffened, only to hear Ouyang Guangsheng laughing uproariously. Seems like there are benefits to being trapped here. To be able to cultivate the ultimate arts of Grand Xia, why not? Since this is the case, I don't mind staying here for a year or so. Qin Wenqian bitterly smiled as he shook his head. Was being ranked first on the heavenly fate rankings a blessing or a calamity? But the past had already passed, he could only strive for the present, and gaze into the future. Even if he had to become enemies with Grand Xia, he would still carve out a path for himself. Chapter 396. The 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xia were, Great Solar Universe Art, Chaotic Art of the Heavenly Devil, Heavenly Swordplay, Golden Dragon Battle Art, Stellar Transposition, Formless Heart Sutra, Seal of Life and Death, Blood Curse Imprint, Thunder God Slash. Of the 9 ultimate arts, Stellar Transposition and Formless Heart Sutra belonged to the category of ultimate arts that could be cultivated by anyone. As for the other 7, the Great Solar Universe Art was best suited for those who were proficient in fire. Bai Qing had already cultivated the Chaotic Art of the Heavenly Devil. This cultivation art was extremely tyrannical, and the slightest mistake would result in death. The Heavenly Swordplay was best suited for those who were proficient in swordsmanship. The Golden Dragon Battle Art was best suited for those who were proficient in metal-attributed energy. The Seal of Life and Death was extremely tyrannical, and only those who were proficient in life and death energy would be able to successfully cultivate it. The Blood Curse Imprint was similarly tyrannical, and it was one of the 9 ultimate arts that could be cultivated together with the Seal of Life and Death. Among those present, only Mu Feng was able to cultivate it. The Thunder God Slash was one of the most tyrannical single-target attacks, but its consumption rate was extremely high. It gathered the terrifying energy of lightning and frenziedly compressed it, compressing it to the point where it could erupt at any moment. After which, it transformed into a saber light and slashed out, shocking the Thunder God. The Divine Steel has the ability to examine the heavens. Get the others to step forward and activate the will of the Divine Steel. Yun Mengyi spoke, her words causing Qin Wenqian's expression to stiffen. This divine steel was actually so heaven-defying. The divine steel can see one's heart. Yun Mengyi seemed to have an extremely deep understanding of the divine steel. Qin Wentian glanced at her before stepping forward, walking towards the complete divine steel for the first time. The divine steel glowed with a brilliant light, instantly enveloping Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian only felt himself appearing in a void. Groaning in misery, he felt a boundless force slamming into his body. Not only his body, but his spirit, will, and even his heart were being attacked. He felt as though he could die at any moment. Buzz! Abruptly, a terrifying heat descended upon Qin Wentian. In this space of nothingness, Qin Wentian's entire body was bathed in flames, resembling the king of Qin Wentian. His body was like a sovereign of flames, the terrifying heat scorched his body. However, Qin Wentian was still as calm as ever. The flames couldn't burn him. In the next moment, the flames disappeared, and an incomparably tyrannical demonic energy rushed into his body. Thunder rumbled, and demonic might crushed everything, transforming into a terrifying and tyrannical demonic energy that rampaged through his body. Qin Wentian felt that his body was about to explode. This demonic might was extremely violent, and he couldn't bear it. His eyes were filled with demonic will, and it was as though he was about to fall into a state of slaughter. Is this the chaotic heavenly demon skill? Qin Wentian had an illusion. It was as though he was experiencing the power of the chaotic heavenly demon art. That lass Bai Qing had cultivated such a tyrannical art. How much pain and suffering did she have to endure? How many trials and tribulations did she experience? Numerous types of energy manifested on Qin Wentian's body. Finally, in front of Qin Wentian, 9 illusory scenes floated. Each scene seemed to contain a different innate technique, each containing terrifying might. They were all imprinted in his mind. Finally, a powerful surge of energy forced him backwards. Qin Wentian drew in a deep breath, his entire body was drenched in sweat. Yun Mengyi turned her gaze onto him as she asked, "Which secret arts did you see in there?" 9. Qin Wentian replied. Yun Mengyi's beautiful eyes flashed. "You have a connection with the divine steel, you should be able to sense the 9 secret arts. What I'm asking is, how many did you personally see in there?" 9. Qin Wentian replied. "Is there a problem? Monster." Yun Mengyi froze for a moment before finally accepting the truth. "You can cultivate all 9 of the secret arts. However, this only means that you have the talent to control them, they might not be suitable for you. For example, if you don't cultivate the mandate of life and death, you won't be able to cultivate the seal of life and death. The divine steel didn't reject you because you can cultivate the mandate of life and death in the future." Qin Wentian pondered for a moment before understanding Yun Mengyi's meaning. He nodded his head. "Take a look at the secret arts you are proficient in and choose the one that is most suitable for you. Let me try first." Fan Lu stepped forward, facing the divine steel. Similar to Qin Wentian, he was brought into the illusory space by the divine steel. Not long after, Fan Lu opened his eyes, gleaming with sharpness. "I'm preparing to cultivate the great solar universe art. Stellar transposition is more suitable for me. Your flames aren't any weaker than Chen Wang's. If you succeed in cultivating the great solar universe art, your achievements would definitely be higher than his." Qin Wentian nodded. Chu Meng stepped forward, using the divine steel to test himself. There were many secret arts that were suitable for him, but his initial choices were Golden Dragon Battle Art, Stellar Transposition, and Thunder God Slash. Stellar Transposition was suitable for anyone, as it could be used to obtain victory at crucial moments. No one would be stingy with their time, but the amount of time they spent, as well as their talent, would determine how proficient they were in the Stellar Transposition. Ouyang Guangxing's initial choice was the same as Chu Meng's, Thunder God Slash, Stellar Transposition. Ouyang Guangxing was proficient in lightning, and would be more suitable for the Thunder God Slash. Yun Mengyi was clear in her heart. Mu Feng chose stellar transposition, and the blood curse imprint. Among these people, Mu Feng was undoubtedly the most suitable to cultivate the blood curse imprint. He was proficient in the mandate of blood and mandate of poison. Everyone had their own choices, even teacher Mustang and senior sister Luo Huan. Qin Wentian also allowed them to choose if there were any secret arts that were suitable for them. Although Mustang's talent was limited, he could still grow stronger by cultivating the secret arts. After everything was concluded, Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at the skies. Stepping out, he once again stood in front of the gigantic vermilion bird formation spirit as he stared at its face. Purgatory, is it unable to return? Qin Wentian felt a sense of melancholy in his heart. He missed his comrade who had sacrificed himself for him. It was originally a sentient life form, but it had sacrificed itself to summon the formation spirit. Now, it had become a part of the formation spirit. It won't be able to return. It was originally born because of the formation spirit. After summoning it, the Grand Xia Royal Palace transformed into a purgatory grand formation. For you, it chose to protect this place. Right now, the transcendent powers are no longer the 9 grand clans of the past. Even if the great Solar Qin clan invited their strongest experts, they wouldn't dare to enter the purgatory grand formation so easily. Yun Mengyi spoke. An expression of sadness flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes. Was it unable to return after transforming into a formation spirit? It would forever protect the Grand Xia Royal Palace, and at the same time, protect him. At this moment, the vermilion bird formation spirit inclined its head as it let out a terrifying screech. The flames of purgatory engulfed every corner of the formation, and deep emotions could be seen in its eyes. Although it was only a part of the formation spirit, it was still able to affect it. From this, one could see how deep the feelings it had for Qin Wentian. This caused Qin Wentian to feel even more guilt, as though he had let down his comrade. Right now, we should be trapped here, right? Qin Wentian spoke to Yun Mengyi. I think so. This time around, you have completely angered several transcendent powers. Yun Mengyi nodded. Even if I didn't anger them, they wouldn't allow me to live. Since this is the case, if I want to live, they want to die, Qin Wentian calmly spoke. After which, he stepped out, moving towards the Grand Xia Royal Palace. The flames of purgatory had killed many powerful characters, and in this space, there were many interspatial rings left behind. Now that Qin Wentian had mastered the ultimate arts of Grand Xia, although he didn't hope to obtain any powerful innate techniques, he still needed Yuan meteor stones to cultivate. Everyone here needed Yuan meteor stones. Right now, the majority of them were all waiting to break through to Heavenly Dipper. Qin Wentian's temperament was getting more and more decisive compared to the past. Knowing that he was trapped here, he didn't think about anything else. First, he had to cultivate, hoping to break through to Heavenly Dipper as soon as possible. Only the strongest powers would be the foundation. After finding some interspatial rings, Qin Wentian discovered that there was indeed a large amount of Yuan meteor stones within them. He immediately distributed the Yuan meteor stones to the rest so that they could cultivate together, and within the protective formation of the vermilion bird formation, he began his cultivation. Outside of the Grand Xia Royal Palace, there was still a sea of people. They stared at the ancient royal palace that had been transformed into a purgatory, with an indescribable feeling in their hearts. Qin Wentian had obtained the top ranker on the Heavenly Fate rankings, yet he had become the target of public criticism. Many wanted to kill him, but his vermilion bird had actually summoned a terrifying formation spirit, capable of destroying everything. Only now did everyone understand why Qin Wentian, who was the first to step into the purgatory vermilion bird, kept on devouring ancient luck. Most probably, it was to form a powerful astral body and summon the formation spirit. Old man Tianji floated in the air. He didn't make a move against Qin Wentian. Since the formation spirit didn't target him, he easily walked out. At this moment, he stared at the purgatory vermilion bird, his eyes gleamed with sharpness. He didn't expect things to turn out this way. The heavenly steel had been gathered, the divine steel had reappeared in Grand Xia. Now that the Grand Formation had been summoned, would those who remained behind in the formation be able to change Grand Xia? I can't wait for that day to come. Old man Tianji silently mused. After which, he turned and departed. Not long after, many experts arrived. Naturally, the Chen clan and the other powers that had a grudge with Qin Wentian arrived. They directly surrounded the Grand Xia royal palace, forming a protective perimeter around it. The Chen clan had suffered the most casualties. 7 to 8 heavenly dipper sovereigns had died, and only after risking their lives did they manage to save Chen Wan. The eyes of these people were incomparably cold as they stared at the ancient formation, their killing intent towering up to the heavens. Initially, they had thought that with so many experts present, they would be able to crush Qin Wentian like squashing an ant. No matter how talented he was, if he couldn't mature, he couldn't be called a genius. But what happened next was something no one could have predicted. Those from the Ouyang aristocrat clan and the Mystic Moon sect were present as well. Ouyang Guangsheng and Bai Qing were still inside, walking together with Qin Wentian. They didn't know if this was a blessing or a calamity. Those from the 9 mystical palace were extremely depressed as well. This time around, they had sent out several heavenly dipper sovereigns to hunt down Qin Wentian. Initially, they thought that as long as Qin Wentian appeared, there would be no way for him to escape. But who would have thought that Qin Wentian would be able to stir up such a terrifying storm? After Qin Wentian's actions, the power structure of the entire Grand Xia seemed to have changed. It was very chaotic, extremely chaotic. It was as though the thousands of years of peace in Grand Xia was about to be broken. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed by. During these 3 months, the news of what happened in ancient Grand Xia spread throughout Grand Xia. Qin Wentian's name resounded throughout the 9 continents of Grand Xia, and for a period of time, there was no one who didn't know of him. But now, it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. He was trapped within the royal palace, and his life could be in danger at any moment. During these 3 months, not a single one of those experts from the royal palace walked out. It was as though they had vanished without a trace. They knew that Qin Wentian and the others were hiding inside, not daring to come out. Chapter 397. 3 months, to Qin Wentian, was merely a short nap. During the ranking battle, he broke through to the 9th level of Yuanfu, and after numerous battles, his foundation was stabilized. And now, after another 3 months of consolidation, the 3 Yuanfu within Qin Wentian's body were filled to the brim with astral energy, akin to a pool of water. Qin Wentian lay on the arena platform, peacefully sleeping. Above him, the purgatory vermilion bird formation spirit cascaded downwards, cascading down on him. In the air, Little Rascal was there as well. Its body shimmered with a golden light, and its lips moved unceasingly, as though it was munching on something. After it was full, it would return to the arena platform and lie down beside Qin Wentian, quietly accompanying him in a nap. It was an exceptionally peaceful and tranquil scene. The royal palace of Grand Xia was extremely vast, and although there were flames of hell everywhere, it wasn't difficult to find a place to rest. Other than Qin Wentian, the others were all in closed-door seclusion. The 9th level of Yuanfu was a critical juncture for every cultivator. At this moment, Qin Wentian's body twitched as he stretched lazily. Opening his eyes, he stared at the spirit of the vermilion bird formation in the air as a hint of gentleness flashed in his eyes. Little Rascal. After mumbling in a low voice, Little Rascal climbed up and leaped into Qin Wentian's embrace. Qin Wentian hugged it as he rubbed its fluffy white fur. He smiled, "Don't ever leave me again." "Yaya." Little Rascal unceasingly shook its head, causing a gentle smile to appear on Qin Wentian's face. Sitting up, Qin Wentian felt that his body was in excellent condition. This nap was simply too comfortable. Wentian Gidge, you're awake. A melodious voice drifted over. Qin Wentian turned his gaze over as he smiled at the beautiful silhouette walking over. Qin, how's your cultivation recently? Qin Wentian asked. Excellent, my mandate of saber has finally broken through to the second level. I'm preparing to condense my astral nova and attempt to break through to the heavenly dipper realm. Bai Qing sat down and lay beside Qin Wentian. She was akin to a mermaid, her posture exceptionally alluring. When she was young, she loved to lie down and chat with her Wentian Gidge. At that time, she was innocent and carefree. She didn't have any worries at all. Are there enough Yuan meteor stones? Qin Wentian asked. Wanting to break through to the heavenly dipper realm wasn't an easy task. It required a long period of preparation, as well as sufficient Yuan meteor stones to condense an astral nova. Not only that, the prerequisite for breaking through to the heavenly dipper realm was that the will of one's mandate of Daos had to be at the second level, as well as one's state of heart. Not a single one of these conditions could be lacking. However, for the top rankers of the heavenly fate rankings this time around, they had all survived countless battles of life and death. Not only that, all of them had comprehended the second level of mandates. As long as their cultivation base reached the same level, with sufficient resources and proper preparation, they should be able to succeed. This was also the reason why since ancient times, demon-level geniuses of Grand Xia had always wanted to participate in the heavenly fate rankings. Fighting against geniuses, the tempering of one's heart and tempering one's will would allow one to break through to the heavenly dipper realm, stabilizing one's cultivation base, strengthening one's will, and strengthening one's mental fortitude. After ranking on the heavenly fate rankings, the success rate of breaking through to the heavenly dipper realm was extremely high. That's enough, didn't we already find a lot of Yuan meteor stones? Bai Qing smiled, I wonder if I should first condense a single astral nova, or directly condense 3 astral novas. Since you've already comprehended the second level of mandates, you should naturally condense 3 astral novas. This way, when you break through to the heavenly dipper realm, your combat prowess would be at an advantage. Qin Wentian laughed. That's what I'm thinking as well. However, the difficulty is still the same. I wonder if the astral novas I condense will be powerful or not. Bai Qing's eyelashes fluttered, as her beautiful eyes stared at Qin Wentian. Wentian Gidge, when are you preparing to break through to the heavenly dipper realm? Your astral souls are so powerful, your astral novas would surely be stronger compared to others. However, the amount of energy required to condense my astral nova is also extremely high. Qin Wentian laughed. The more powerful one's astral soul was, the more terrifying the energy contained within the astral nova would be. If an astral nova formed from an astral soul from the 5th heavenly layer collided with an astral nova formed from an astral soul from the 1st heavenly layer, under the circumstances that both parties were at the same level, the astral nova of the 1st heavenly layer would instantly shatter into pieces. Correspondingly, the amount of astral energy required to condense the astral nova would also be extremely terrifying. As for time, I'll just let nature take its course. When I feel that the time is right, I'll start condensing my astral nova. Qin Wentian stared at the skies. Breaking through to the heavenly dipper realm required an extremely long process. When he finally succeeded, he would be able to sense it. Let nature take its course, and when the conditions are right, success would follow. You better hurry up, Big Bro Chu Mang is already condensing his astral nova. Bai Qing giggled, her words causing Qin Wentian's expression to stiffen as a smile appeared on his face. Big Bro Chu Mang's temperament was extremely resolute, and he was also the one who stayed at the 9th level of Yuanfu for the longest period of time. It was only natural that he would be the first to attempt to break through to Heavenly Dipper. I know, you too. Qin Wentian pinched Bai Qing's nose as he laughed, causing Bai Qing to roll her eyes. Inclining her head, Bai Qing stared at the skies as a smile appeared on her face. I still remember a few years ago, Wentian Gij was teaching me how to form an innate link with the heavens and earth, condensing my first astral soul. Now, I'm already condensing my first astral nova. Wentian Gij, we all have to work hard. After speaking, she stretched out her hand. Qin Wentian laughed, hooking his hand with Bai Qing's as he said, work hard. I'm going to cultivate then. Bai Qing stood up, turning her head back with a smile. After which, her silhouette flickered as she departed, as innocent and adorable as ever. Even if it's for the sake of all of you, I can't slack off. Qin Wentian murmured in his heart. Right now, he wasn't alone. He had many brothers who were accompanying him, all for the sake of their own fates. He, Qin Wentian, had to rise up as well. In the heavenly fate rankings, I possess the most dazzling astral soul. My astral nova will also be the strongest. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness, shooting straight up to the heavens. He closed his eyes and once again lay down on the arena platform. With a flash of light, the mountainous pile of astral soul stones enveloped his body as his astral soul erupted forth. The light from the Yuan meteor stones floated in the air, frenziedly absorbing the energy within. If others were to see this mountain of Yuan meteor stones, they would surely be incomparably shocked. Did a peak-level Yuanfu cultivator need so many Yuan meteor stones to condense his astral nova? Even for the heavens chosen from the transcendent powers, they wouldn't be able to obtain so many Yuan meteor stones to break through to Heavenly Dipper. Qin Wentian didn't want to condense an ordinary astral nova. Others used astral energy to condense their astral novas, but for him, Qin Wentian would compress his astral energy into divine energy, and then use the vast amount of divine energy to condense an astral nova that belonged solely to him. The amount of astral energy required to condense such an astral nova was tens of times, maybe even 100 times more than what ordinary cultivators used. Spring passed and autumn came. Time was the most emotionless thing in the world. It would never stop just because it was waiting for you. In the blink of an eye, 7 months had already passed since the start of the heavenly fate rankings. The great solar Qin clan and the other transcendent powers had surrounded the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia, attempting to break through it several times. However, all of their attempts ended in failure, and there were even some who were injured and almost lost their lives. No one else dared to attempt to break through the purgatory ancient formation again. However, they didn't give up on their encirclement. As long as Qin Wentian didn't die, they wouldn't be able to rest easy. This genius who should have died after the end of the heavenly fate rankings, had actually managed to preserve his life because of the ancient formation left behind by Grand Xia. Now that he was hiding inside, not daring to come out, there was nothing they could do. The discussions regarding the heavenly fate rankings in the 9 continents of Grand Xia gradually lessened, but there would still be people who would occasionally come to the outskirts of the Grand Xia ancient formation. However, they could only stare at it from afar because the great solar Qin clan and the other transcendent powers had already sealed off the area. Even a housefly wouldn't be able to fly out of the ancient kingdom. They didn't believe that Qin Wentian would be able to hide inside and cultivate forever. If one didn't come into contact with the outside world, their cultivation would eventually reach a bottleneck. Even if they managed to break through to Heavenly Dipper, they would still die if they exited the ancient formation. After Chen Wang came out alive, he immediately broke through to Heavenly Dipper. The heaven chosen of the great solar Qin clan had broken through to Heavenly Dipper, allowing his severed arm to regrow. His arm was shattered by Qin Wentian, but Qin Wentian's strength was limited, he didn't have the strength to truly erase the vitality of his severed arm. After Chen Wang broke through, he could still rely on his high cultivation base to regrow his arm. Not only Chen Wang, many of the surviving rankers on the Heavenly Fate rankings were also attempting to break through to Heavenly Dipper. There was no doubt that Sherpatian had also stepped into Heavenly Dipper. Stepping into Heavenly Dipper meant that they had stepped into another level. From now onwards, their vision would no longer be limited to Yuanfu, they would be able to set their sights on an even higher level. However, there was still a knot in their hearts that hadn't been resolved. And that not was none other than Qin Wentian. During this half a year, many major events had occurred in the outside world. For example, Yang Fan's death in the Moon Continent. Although the star-seizing manor couldn't say anything, they were still enraged. Since they couldn't kill Qin Wentian, they decided to vent their anger on the White Deer Institute. Because, they had personally witnessed the siblings Bailu Jing and Bailu Yi being extremely close to Qin Wentian. Not only that, the White Deer Institute also had an ambiguous relationship with Qin Wentian back then. The White Deer Institute in the eastern region of the Moon Continent was suppressed, and they had no choice but to relocate, leaving the Moon Continent. In one of the 9 continents located at the borders of Grand Xia, a major event also occurred. The grudge between the Green Cloud Pavilion and the 9 Mystical Palace actually erupted. Both sides were in a state of mutual hostility, as though a war could break out at any moment. Not only that, in the other regions of the Grand Xia Empire, the relationship between the transcendent powers was even more subtle than before, and conflicts would erupt frequently. However, Qin Wentian had no idea of all this. He was still lying there, unaware of the flow of time, unaware of the changes in the outside world. How long has it been? Ouyang Guangsheng stared at Qin Wentian as he asked the others around him. About 3 months. That fellow actually used so many Yuan meteor stones, how ruthless. Fan Lu murmured. The pile of Yuan meteor stones around Qin Wentian was being depleted at a terrifying rate. His astral souls erupted forth unabashedly, transforming the astral energy within the Yuan meteor stones into astral energy before absorbing it into his body. Within his Yuanfu, a terrifying roar thundered out, shaking the eardrums of those who heard it. I wonder how long this breakthrough would take. The crowd mused silently as they dispersed. They couldn't forget their own cultivation. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.